YouTube, as pessoas do YouTube aí. Continua nosso jogo. Então, não lembro o que a gente tava fazendo, o que a gente tem que fazer, hein? Ah, que bom que tem o jornal aqui, né, pra gente ver. Interrogue o representante da Wild Pines, interrogue o chefe do sindicato. Descubra quem está no anexo do sindicato. Gaste dias que alguns homens indisciplinados do sindicato se unem no refeitório. Ah. Pesquise sobre o número da armadura. A gente já tem que esperar só. Peça ao Kim para te falar sobre o caso. Onde está o resto da armadura? Pergunte ao Kuno, que ele sabe. Ah, para esclarecer seus problemas, né? Pergunte ao Kuno sobre as roupas no lixo. Tem duas coisas pra fazer com o Kuno aqui agora, né? Este caso precisa de um nome oficial. Vá ao seu inventário e interage com tatuagem da vítima. Beleza. Envie o corpo da vítima para o processamento. Não vou fazer isso. Quem fez a ligação denunciando o crime? Explorar as passagens secretas do Whirling. Cante no karaokê. O que é o enigma racial? Tem que voltar com ele lá, né? Muita coisa. Isso aqui é o quê? Essas são checagens brancas encontradas. Aquelas em branco estão disponíveis para ser realizadas agora. Ah. Cronometrista lendário. E essa aqui são outras que vai liberar depois, né? Então vamos ver. Várias coisas pra fazer, na real. A gente pode subir de nível. Ou a gente pode liberar mais um aqui, né? Libera mais um. E manda um tipo de celebridade. Bora. Isso aqui a gente tá ganhando mais um de contextualização. Porque a gente descobriu que esse negócio do... Esse negócio é uma palhaçada, essa teoria avançada, né? Esse aqui é bom também. Esse aqui é mais ou menos. Vou liberar ele depois. -2 de cálculo visual durante 40 minutos. A solução a gente vai descobrir em 40 minutos, né? Esse aqui é -2 de lógica. Ainda parece improvável que a gente seja... E aí, Mafra? Bom demais? Tardei mais ir, não. Eu também acabei de entrar, pô. Fiquei arrumar os trem do gado, isso aqui. Inclusive, deixa eu ver se ele tá bebendo água ainda. Pera aí. Segura. Então, o negócio que eu não expliquei, né? Porque é foda. Tem um gabinete de reflexão aqui nesse RPG, né? Você pega tipo a teoria comunista, né? Você coloca ela e reflete sobre ela um tempo. E você acha a solução pra si mesmo, né? Já virou time gato? Não, sempre serei time cachorro, mas eu adoro gato também, pô. Então tem que conversar com o Kuno, né? Vamos lá.
Fuck does Kuno care?
Fuck does Kuno care? Desculpa o que está acontecendo com esse garoto. Kuno, eu preciso de uma geladeira pra guardar o corpo.
Fuck him. Good thing you asked the Kunmeister. Kuno knows a fridge. Perfect for freezing.
Achei que saberia onde está.
Bacon man's in a rush. But what's in it for the Kuno?
Não
What's
tem...
the return on Kuno's investment?
Retórica. Convença o Kuno a abrir o bico. Vamos lá, retórica. Vamos mandar esse teste de retórica aqui. Esse é o teste, entendeu, Mafra? Não passei.
Kid from a poor neighborhood. Say your job is on the line. He'll sympathize.
Não tenho muito certo disso. Perdi pra solidariedade das classes. Parece ingenuidade desse caso.
Can't you see his hair is red? The color of social democracy.
The color of social democracy. Vocês não são traidores, isso não quer dizer nada. Garoto, isso é sério, meu emprego está na linha.
Not all of them. Social democrats have their hearts in the right place. Some of them can
Porque a gente não passou na porra do teste,
if you turn them.
a gente vai falar, garoto, isso é sério, meu emprego está na
The
linha.
fuck are you doing right now? The fuck is this shit?
Don't pay attention to him. Just keep telling your sad story.
Nossa, eu perdi quase tudo, Kuno. Minha memória, meu dinheiro, até meu nome. Eu não posso perder meu emprego também. Por favor, me ajude.
It's not that dramatic. We can just send the body to processing.
Kuno's never seen anything so lame. Listen, pig. If you were Kuno, the fuck would you care?
Isso não é sobre mim. Se você não me disser, eu vou ter que perguntar pra outra pessoa. E isso vai demorar muito. O corpo está decompondo. Isso não é sobre mim, Kuno. É sobre as pessoas que estão tentando ajudar. É tarde demais pra mim, de qualquer modo. Isso não está funcionando de jeito algum. Você mentiu pra mim, homem da boca dourada.
You just haven't done it long enough. You need to do it even longer. The golden mouth man is a liar.
Véi,
He can't be trusted.
Golden Mouth
sir.
Man é o
He
retórica, né?
only wants to humiliate you.
É verdade.
No, it's the
Olha
face
lá.
blob who's trying to humiliate you.
O seu lado dramático discutindo com sua
Why
retórica.
can't he speak like a normal person?
But you see, Kuno wants for it to decompose.
Ah,
Kuno
filho da puta.
digs that cadaver
Perdi.
shit.
Fuck off and ask someone else. Kuno's not gonna snitch. He likes corpses.
Véi, essa Kuno é filho da puta, véi.
Why don't we go pester some other kids now?
Eu quero discutir sobre o corpo com você de novo, Kuno.
The fuck about it?
Onde está o resto da armadura?
Kuno doesn't give a shit about the armor.
Vou usar alguma coisa pra aumentar minha moral aqui, né? Por quê?
Kuno's fuck gimp's got one big thing wrong with him. He's a fucking mutant.
Mutante?
Look at him. Fucking growth hormone shit. He's a giant. The armor's too big for any man.
Roda, pô, roda. Roda de boa, Mafra. Só se colocar no mínimo. Baixa pra testar assim. Boa noite, Zé ali. Boa noite.
Kuno doesn't give a shit about that freak armor. Kuno threw that shit away.
O que quer dizer que jogou
Kuno
fora?
tried to get the helmet on. It was too big.
Ele imita o chute no
Kuno
imaginário.
kicked that shit in the sea, rugby style. That shit means nothing to Kuno.
Você jogou no mar?
Yeah, that shit means nothing to Kuno.
Maldito
Kuno doesn't
Kuno.
give a shit about material shit.
Material
Kuno's
shit?
a fucking monk.
Kuno is a fucking monk. Como tá, Vitão? Tô bem, pô.
You wanna fuck on someone about that armor? Go fuck the mustached union fuck. The jolly troubadour shit at the gate.
Ah, quem é esse trubador?
Yeah, cock in boot. You know that jolly union cow fucker? Came around talking about cows or some shit. Came around pretending like he cares about cows.
Pera aí, velho. O que falou que encheu o saco de alguém por causa daquela armadura vai encher o puto de bigode do sindicato. É o Lamaniano, né? E aí, guerreiro da juizal. E aí, capitão, bom demais?
He means Manana, the laid-back striker at the gates.
Você diz Maniana?
Yeah, he's the one you wanna talk to. He's fucking crazy about that armor shit. Coming here pretending like he likes cows. Trying to catch a peeper Kuno's armor.
Fingindo que gosta de vacas.
Yes, this troubadour has it. You can feel it.
You can feel it. O Império Interior. É, tô jogando disco, hein? Vai jogando aí, pô. Você tá na minha frente. Existem contusões por todo o corpo dele. Você criou.
What are you talking about? What is this contusion shit?
Vai upar o que nessa play? Nessa play, velho. O jovem é foda, velho. Nessa play. Eu tô upando o que tá aparecendo. Eu vou tentar fazer o máximo possível.
He says you're stupid, Kuno. They wanna make you stupid again.
Eu dei palavras também. Uma contusão é uma marca. Estou falando das marcas que seus pés deixaram no corpo.
Did Kuno make your shit sniffing harder? Obstruction of shit sniffing? This is Kuno's kingdom. Kuno fucking rules here.
You hear the lieutenant hum. He's thinking the kid has amassed quite the vocabulary of law enforcement terms, but he's not going to stick his nose into this.
Eu e meu parceiro estamos curiosos. Onde você adquiriu tantos
Me
termos
and my
policiais?
partner are wondering, do you guys puff Peter?
Ó a tradução, vocês mordem a fronha, velho. Os caras.
Kuno erupts into laughter, pointing his finger at you, then Kim, then back at you. An unfortunate choice of words, the lieutenant from Precinct 57 thinks. He looks at the harbor walls looming overhead. He could use a cigarette right about
Ele
now.
fuma um cigarro por dia, né?
You're testing Kuno's patience here.
Get lost,
Tem mais perguntas sobre o local do crime.
The kingdom of Kuno? The fuck do you want with it?
As roupas dos defuntos estavam na caçamba de lixo. Como foi para lá?
Kuno doesn't know shit about that. That shit is beneath Kuno. Listen.
Eu preciso saber. Poderia ser uma
Kuno doesn't
pista.
care about this small time shit. Just listen. Kuno saw what you did there, dumpster
Coisa de
diving.
quem, velho? É um negócio do
Sad shit.
Twitch aí. GV Power. A gente colocou no começo, mas... É lá, os caras gastam qualquer coisa.
Kuno could hook you up with some sweet rags. Shit like Kuno's wearing. Your size, good price. 500 real.
You'd have to be blind not to notice the giant white letters F-A-L-N running down his trouser leg.
É, ele tá com a bota do cara, com a calça do cara, né? E eu já tenho as calças. Espera, eu te perguntei o que aconteceu com as roupas dele. Você deve ter visto caído por aqui. Tá certo, me divido. O que tem mais nessas calças?
Pig, these are found modulars. Liquid fit, performance crotch, urban survival shit. Made in Mirova by scientists. Pants scientists. Believe it, you need this shit.
Então, tem como você pegar essa roupa
These
toda,
could drastically
eu acho.
improve your chances of survival in the urban wilderness.
Savoir-faire.
They will also make you into an idiot.
Look.
Ah, as roupas dele que eu tô falando.
Lying around, except for that there. Now you want performance gear or not, Grandpa?
The lieutenant remains silent, but his expression couldn't say, I told you so, any louder.
Não, quando você não sabe de nada sobre a adulteração e eu estou investigando
Whatever.
essas calças.
Kuno was trying to help you, but you're too fat for falling anyway, pig.
Havia também uma caneca na lixeira.
Fuck. A mug in the trash. Is this about the fucking clothes again?
Sim, essa caneca racista tem nada a ver com isso.
Kuno sees where this is going.
Vai socar na cara do Kuno.
Brain. You saying you pigs are after the mug fucker? Cause he's the clothes fucker?
I can't hear you, Kuno. Speak louder, Kuno.
É exatamente isso que eu estou dizendo, Kuno. Alguém adulterou com o local do crime, limpou algumas
Shit,
coisas.
That's tense. Someone's going to the beat-down basement, huh? Mug guy gonna get tied to the radiator.
Uf.
Kuno doesn't know who put that shit in there. And if he did, he wouldn't squeal. But if you find out, maybe you can...
Stop turning into a
Ooh.
pig, Kuno. They're trying to get you hooked on the snitching.
Shhh, Kuno é esse filho da puta.
Yeah, get your bacon shit away. Kuno doesn't like to be seen with the popo. Get
With the
your
popo.
shit done and out of Kuno's face.
A escada, já escalou?
Look at that fucking shit. You're trying to get Kuno killed.
Então você diria que aquela escada é inescalável.
Does Kuno know? Kuno's not a fucking acrobat.
The lieutenant takes a quick note in his notebook.
It's a trap, Kuno. Don't climb it, Kuno.
Kuno, tem uma pilha de eternite lá atrás.
That's just some shit roofing gimps left behind. Lazy dinks. Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. Kuno doesn't...
É, então, a gente tem que descobrir mais coisas sobre o Kuno, depois a gente volta aqui, né? Vamos conversar com o Lamania, né? Ué, ué, ué. Ué, 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 ué. Ué, ué. E conversar com o cronometrista. O próprio.
What are wondering, man?
Quando me disse que você deve saber sobre a armadura.
The little boy had the good on his promise.
A promessa
To get me
dele?
into trouble. To sick the pigs on me. Pardon the choice of words. Not mine.
What happened?
I was asked to look into that armor situation. Official Union probe, you know. Track it down, see who took it.
Did you?
At first I thought, why not? Maybe the pieces can feed the strike. Buy us a few more days under the sun, you know? So I went to this boy. He said he'll make me his prison bitch. He's got eyes everywhere, the cops in his pocket, and he's the king of Jamrock. Serves me right for doing menial footwork. I dropped that probe right then and there, and it still got me into trouble. One bad move is all it takes.
Aham. Soldado da armadura, o que você
I
descobriu?
learned that people don't want to talk to a drunk Union man about some armor.
What else?
Not much. Technical stuff mostly.
Que
That
tipo de
was it.
coisas
I did some
técnicas?
research into this armadura. Let's say I have friends at the library. I didn't get into the
Mafra, a
material
gente tem
science,
que-
so it comes off.
Tinha um corpo ali no chão do lado de onde o moleque tava. A gente tem que descobrir quem que matou ele. É resolver um caso, né?
How
De
does it
homicídio.
come off?
In parts. 4 in total. The helmet was the first to go. The kid says he tore it off and kicked it into the sea. I believe him. The boots were still on the guy last I saw. Too hard to remove. So, as I count, there are 2 parts missing. The gauntlets and the cuirass. This is where I left off. Too much hassle. More like a job for some militia.
Eu sou ambicioso, vou encontrar tudo, todas as
All of
peças.
it? There are junior officers out there, eager to prove themselves. I would leave some for them, but okay. Let's find all of it.
Isso.
And mesquite
A missão.
all across Martinez. I hope it will be a real bonanza for you.
Então, quando nos usou pra quê? Assustar você?
It's a minor nuisance. It's all good.
Tá bom, obrigado por sua cooperação,
No
senhor.
problem. If you see that kid, thank him from Call Me Mañana. Thank him for showing me the way.
He is sincerely grateful. He is not tracking down pieces of art right now.
Vamos falar com você, beleza. Vocês falaram que vocês viram o cara passar no teste, batendo cronometria. Isso aqui é complicado, viu? O nosso aqui é 3%. 30% é fácil de passar, pô.
The unpromising race pupil returns.
Acho que eu sei o que é o enigma da raça. É uma merda, deixa eu entrar no porto. Paradoxalmente, você planeja substituir os ocidentais com sua própria raça. Essa raciologia é que os ricos querem que façamos enquanto eles pegam todo o dinheiro. É apenas algo com que você choca as pessoas liberais e progressistas. É o que você quiser que seja, é um exercício de linguagem de associação livre, degenerado herói racial. Não sei sobre o resto, mas é claro que eu deveria parar de beber o antigo veneno da mente e ilumar algo. Essa lixeira está pronta para ser substituída pelo superestado aeropostita. Eu posso servir como como escrivão em sua administração. Talvez você precise de um policial. Vamos ver o que é que apareceu aqui, né? Tudo está calmo, sua mente está lúcida, declarar. A abstrusa filogenética parece mais distante e, para ser justo, um pouco ridícula. O grande mistério da raça se resolveu. Tudo que resta é verbalizar suas reflexões. Essa raciologia é o que os ricos querem que façamos enquanto eles pegam todo o dinheiro.
Look, babe. The rich man has humiliated and emasculated this couple. He can only think in base materialist categories and feminine abstractions.
Esse cara é escroto demais, velho.
Rich man really fucked him over, Jean.
His rage is already played out on the stage of history as the grotesque tragedy of revolution. All it can accomplish now is impotent academic
test.
Impotent class warrior. I take pity on you. You clearly want to enter the harbor bad, like a little boy who wants to go on the potty. I can press the button for you. It will open the door.
Era só isso que eu queria.
Very well. You may enter the door once. Our race conversation here has concluded.
Finally. Let's go.
Rapaz, eu nunca passei no primeiro dia. Doideira. Doideira. Todo trabalhador, membro do conselho, está escrito na todos os panfletos. Essa máquina de escrever Dewey é o nome modelo antes de trazê-lo. Cartão postal Le Jardin. Aqui no escritório padrão. E deixou a máquina de café ligada. O líquido escuro no jarro parece quase
On
sensível.
second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
Let's see what's inside, he thinks.
Abre a gaveta.
The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders.
Tem outra coisa também dos testes, né, Eric? A gente tá jogando no hardcore, os testes são todos mais difíceis.
Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, Grad, and even Ilmara. And the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol. Kuron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold.
Alguma coisa
It's
interessante?
hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry.
Força a si mesmo a olhar para as pastas.
Look how
A
blurry
gente tá dando
all the
muito
lines on
azar,
these
velho.
papers are. How unwieldy your own willpower is to yourself. You're like an absurdist Samaran monk, focusing through not focusing. Hermeneutics was almost within your grasp, but now only vague letters float before your eyes. Less meaningful, but aesthetically more pleasing.
Eu poderia realmente focar através da falta de foco. Se eu deixar meus olhos ficarem completamente fora de foco, todas as formas começam a se fundir umas às
Is
outras.
that what you're doing with those folders over there?
Sim.
Right. This is probably not relevant to our case. After
The drawer.
Então, mas é bom passar esse teste aí, eu acho, viu?
Zovian
Eu vou tentar passar ele de novo.
economics.
Aí, ó. Famoso comunismo.
0.000% of
Mas é meio ele
has
zoa
been
todos
built.
os...
Evil, child-murdering billionaires still rule the world with a shit-eating grin. All he has managed to do is make himself sad. He is starting to suspect Krasmazov fucked him over, personally, with his socio-economic theory. It has, however, made him into a very smart boy with something like a university degree in truth.
In truth.
Instead of building communism, he now builds a precise model of this grotesque, duplicitous world.
É foda, né? Então, opção de diálogos QGs dão mais 4 de experiência, menos 1 de cálculo visual, menos 1 de autoridade. Inva comunista oprimido. Reação em todo lugar. É bom, porque aí você vai ganhar mais XP, né? De todas as... Salve, Fábio. Bom demais. Então, eu diria que vale a pena a gente tentar mais um de evolução. Vamos lá.
The file cabinet stands steady as ever, and the unlocked drawer slides out.
Qual copo tá fazendo? Não sei.
Whatever's
Passou.
hidden here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. However, there is a little handwritten note stuck on the side of the drawer.
Não, velho, eu não sei os nomes desse que essa galera que é muito fã do jogo fala qual que é o... Eu não sei qual que é o policial que nós estamos jogando, não. A build é essa aqui, ó. Não é muito inteligentão, não, eu acho. Olha pra anotação.
It appears to be a to-do list written in large, uneven capital letters. Remember, Leo, Everart's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everart's plants, sweep office floor, more banners. All items on the list have been crossed out and the note itself is crumpled.
Veja aqui, uma anotação com a lista de tarefas de assuntos para tratar para o Everard.
Everard Clare, probably. The head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left it. Nothing incriminating here.
Dê outra
Remember,
anotação.
Leo, Everart's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everart's plants. All items on the list. The drawer slides.
Meio zoeira, né? Mas assim, eu acho que a gente vai encontrar alguém. Acho que encontrar esse Leo. Some kind of superstar.
They say the world isn't ready for a rock and roll cop. No one wants their state monopoly on violence to be mixed with celebrity worship. They claim to know it would be dangerous for detectives to rise to the ranks of demigods and have sexual encounters with barely legal cover girls. It would be insane, they say.
They say.
To all this, you say, fuck off and die, in a cool voice. You people have no idea how good these cops are gonna get. They're gonna crack 20 cases a day. In the future, cops will be like astrophysicists, or prime ministers, or prophets. And you're the first one.
Menos 1 de lógica, visual aumentado para 6, capacidade de aprendizagem de sugestão aumentada para 6. Ah, ganha muita coisa, né? Mas pede 1 de lógica, né? Vamos lá. Tá respondido, adoro jogar como superstar. Então, mas tem como ser mais de 1, né? Pelo que eu entendo. É por isso que eu não compreendo esses nomes que os caras dão. Mais 1 de cálculo visual, menos 1 de drama. Na marca de nádegas enormes na almofada. Mancha de café no braço do sofá. Alguém está habituado a relaxar ao lado do rádio. Rádio emitindo estranhos zumbidos.
An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change. The machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move.
Deixe sua memória muscular descarregar um número aleatório.
It's unclear whether you actually have muscle memory. Right now, your finger is just drawing vaguely occult patterns in the air.
Padrões úteis.
Sure,
Cara,
why not? Muscle
Da caralho, eu
memory is
cliquei errado. Beleza. Esse do telefone aí é boa, viu? Então, esse aqui aumenta mais um de instrumento físico. Esse aqui faz o quê? Mais um de concentração, menos um de sessão. Mais um de cálculo visual, menos um de drama. Por favor. Não, mas essa roupa é feia demais, velho. Melhor assim, né? Sem dúvida. Opa, que é isso?
Looks like someone left his tarpaulin cloak hanging on the railing here. There is a white rectangle clearly visible on its back. This is your cloak. You can feel it.
Tenente, acho que é a minha.
Yes, it does bear the Elysium
Como é que foi parar aqui?
and we are the only detectives in Martinez.
Você acha que eu deveria
The
pegar ela?
service cloak issued to you by your station? Yes, yes, I do.
As
There
your
you go.
fingers touch the tarpaulin, it almost feels like the cloak wants to deliver a message of comfort through your fingertips. I will shield you from the elements and give my life for yours. That's what the cloak is relaying.
Então temos uma capa agora, né? Mas eita, ela é boa de qualquer jeito. O estilo dele tá foda, né? Tem coisa aqui, né, bicho? Isso aqui, como é que eu chego aqui? Ah, é por outro lado, né? Bitucas, numerosas garrafas.
Snow is quietly covering the numerous wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really, really hard here.
Ah, opa, espere, com extremo. Eu fiz isso.
Well, they went through 6 bottles of potent Pilsner, 3 bottles
É, eu
of
fiz isso, sem
Commodore
dúvida.
Red,
A minha capa tava ali,
and
né?
almost 4 packs of cigarettes.
4 maços de cigarro foi foda,
Must
né?
have been pretty hard.
Eu fiz isso?
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you.
Eu devo visto a missão de observação lançada no porto. Isso é realmente triste, eu deveria estar deplorável. Parece que eu me diverti muito.
It really, really doesn't. Let's turn our attention elsewhere and move on.
Não, pode talvez o cara, né?
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud. Listen, it's okay to take a few minutes to yourself. Sit down and have a breather.
Kim, vou dar uma olhada lá dentro.
If you must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. There's a framed photograph on the table.
Pega a
It's a
fotografia.
black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man is young, dark-skinned, and dressed in a Royal Carabinieri uniform. The girl is smiling playfully at the camera.
Why did you take that?
Algo sobre esse homem desperta meu interesse. Acho que isso pode ser uma investigação paralela.
Fine. But let's move. I don't want to be seen snooping around here.
Tá bom, sente-se e
The chair
descanse.
is not as austere as the rest of the booth. A thin grey pillow is attached to the seat, secured to the stiles by black ribbons.
Procure por alguma coisa que possa
The
ajudar.
drawers are empty, save for old timesheets and receipts. One small box, however, does hold some cheap painkillers. They are slightly out of date.
Pega os
You
analgésicos.
take the painkillers. They are yours now.
Leia os efeitos
Oh boy.
colaterais.
Where
Oh
to
boy,
start?
where to start?
Elevated risk of dementia, mini strokes, Prophet's disease, sudden death,
Oh boy, where to start?
erectile malfunction, critical flatulence, watery blood, black mucus, uncontrollable weeping, increased sensitivity to la opera, inoperable joint disorder, total spinal collapse. Don't think about that. Quick, think about something else.
Sou policial, tenho de coisas de policial pra fazer. Pessoas ajudar, assassinatos resolver. Quem está contando comigo?
The enormity of the case before you dwarfs the list of side effects.
Tem como você ficar
Can't
mal,
even
né? Por causa
see the
dos...
side effects anymore. They're nothing to you. You stand and
Beleza. Não é pra onde que eu tenho que ir agora? Ah, não é por aqui. Por toda a volta, grandes máquinas em atividade. Então, é a primeira vez que eu vou no primeiro dia aqui nesse rolê. Pelos brancos impressos na tela de abertura, parece. Geralmente eu vou no... Sempre demora muito tempo pra vir aqui, na real.
A rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marsh and Arrête are faded with use. It
Foi pelo
seems
que eu não
to
meti,
control
sim.
the large crane above. A container is attached to its hook block.
Pois é, eu sempre espero uns dias pra vir
March.
resolver outras coisas.
On. Arrête. Off. With a loud grind, the crane shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air.
Ah, é, eu não sei se a gente vai conseguir. Mas é, já que a gente chegou aqui no primeiro dia, a gente pode tentar. Porque geralmente eu chego nessa parte só depois, aí eu nem ligo pra essa... Mas assim, a gente pode tentar. Provavelmente não vai ter nada.
With a surprisingly quiet thunk, the crane places the container down. The harbor sleeps as the strike rages in the distance. The crane can rest again, now that its purpose has been fulfilled.
Seu propósito, o que quer dizer?
Moving this container, of course. For this purpose it was built. For this purpose it has acted. And now it will rest.
I can't see how that was worth the ruckus. Except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying.
Ah, que bom.
The crane does not return to its original position. It does not move at all. No screech of metal when you... Before you stands a cargo container. Just one of many in the yard.
Tenente, acho que há algo nesse container.
Because I don't.
O quê? Por que
There
não?
are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one?
Está lá pelo guindaste, é
You just
verdade.
picked one out because you wanted to interact with the cargo container.
Não sei.
We are not here to interact with containers. We are here to interview the union boss.
Abata na
No
porta.
reply. The knock produces a hollow ring of metal. Doesn't sound like there's anything inside the container.
Abra a porta.
You attempt to turn the handle, to no avail. The doors seem to be mechanically locked. To your left, the lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzlement.
Complicado, né?
Why
Nunca
are
vai
you
passar.
even trying to open the door with rhetoric?
Porque usar força física não era... É porque usar força física não era uma
Wasn't an
opção.
option?
Porque o que não era uma opção? Usando meu corpo ao invés da minha inteligência.
Now is not the time to get philosophical, detective. You can do that after hours.
Beleza. Ô, Mafra, não foi você que me deu um prato de comida não, Mafra. Você também tava lá comigo. Saldos estão silenciosos. Trancado?
Container, I'll turn you nice and red.
Ó o Léo aí. Ele que é as anotações que a gente chora dele.
The lyrics to this container song are being made up as he goes along. The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi, from the vanishing peninsula of Ubisunt on Muindi.
Container, used to be Wild Pines. Container, now belongs to Everard.
Ah, o homenzinho está tão engajado em seu trabalho que não percebe você. Olá.
Everard, he looks after everyone. Huh? Well, hey there. How can I help you, mister?
The look in his deep blue eyes is as sincere as you've ever seen. Kind of makes you feel like an arsehole for no apparent reason.
I see you are not a union man, mister. Did you get lost? You're not one of them scabs, are you?
Na verdade, eu sou assim, não.
I mean, I don't personally mind. Folks is just folks, you know, and folks gotta eat. Just some of the other guys don't look too kindly on the scabbing kind, if you know what I mean, mister.
Você é o
Oh,
certo?
yes. Born and raised in Irish, mister. Mum had to leave my dad after he got a bit violent. Took us here to the new world. I was about 10 then. Too old to lose my accent then. People say us Ubis are up to all sorts of trouble with sheep and other animals and whatnot. I just want you to know there was never
Problema
any
com
of that where I come
ovelhas.
from. No, sir. Those are just nasty rumors.
Thank you for clarifying that, sir.
O que você está fazendo com seus
Oh,
containers?
I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them.
O que está vendo aqui? Olha para os montões de containers erguendo-se atrás de tensos, né?
The
Passei.
containers in the yard are green in Wild Pine's livery, and the mountains
Eu passo
rising
nos
behind Lee
negócio não é nada a
is
ver.
all red in Union colors. It's like some red infection was spreading outwards from the container yard's core. There appear to be cisterns underneath the Union container covers.
Isso parece uma operação massiva de redecoração, Kim.
Yes, they are hiding it from the inside. All the red containers have the Debarders Union logo on them.
Léo, alguém já lhe disse por que você precisa trocar as
No,
coberturas?
not really. Mr. Everett doesn't tell me all the big things. Says I go and tell them to everyone.
O que está por baixo das coberturas
Oh, I
vermelhas?
don't know, mister. They say it's some chemicals.
Chemicals?
Most of them have labels on them, I think.
Ah, obrigado, Léo.
Oh,
Você foi
no
muito
trouble
útil.
at all, mister. No trouble at all.
Onde estão todos? O posto está vazio. Esse cara fala demais.
Down at the gates, keeping the scabs from coming in. We're on a strike. The whole union is. You don't have to work when you're on strike. Ha! We haven't worked for 2 months now.
Você se conhece, Capitão e Mafra?
So no one is working?
Not everyone is down there, of course. Mr. Everard is in his office, where he always is. And Jean-Luc is guarding the gate.
Oxe, o Mafridos é o lindo aqui de Maceió. Olha aí, olha aí, olha aí.
But Titus and his boys got
Olha aí,
into
as
some
pessoas se
drunken
conhecem
trouble
no
and
chat,
Everard
pô.
sent them on a nice vacation for a week or so.
Em que tipo de problema esse Titus e seus amigos se meteram?
Oh, I'm not really supposed to talk about that.
Yeah.
That's union business.
Algum problema,
Him and
né?
his boys stirred up something in town. Probably drank too much and got into a fight or something. I heard Mr. Everett telling them to take some time off.
Mas o que eles realmente fizeram?
I guess the boys got a bit too rowdy and had to let out some steam. I don't really know the details. That's just how boys are, you know. I haven't been in a fight since I was in middle school.
Easy, Leo. Let's keep this on the hearties.
Desodeia demais, Léo. E que tipo de briga se envolveram? Eles mataram o mercenário?
Too late. Leo's mouth is still moving.
Oof.
And words are spewing forth.
Caralho, velho.
Words,
Vai
words,
falar.
and look, even more words. This guy could go on till the end of days.
Velho, ele tem que...
Now he's talking about some drunk sawmill owner who, no, he already switched to a prized fishing rod he apparently owned at some point. You know what? Just cut in there with your questions.
Você trabalha aqui?
Yes, yes. Everybody needs a job, and this is mine. I'm Leonard, by the way. Leonard Bellick. But everyone calls me Leo. I'm like Mr. Everett's right-hand man when Mr. Edgar is out of town. And Mr. Edgar's right-hand man when Mr. Everett is away. Actually, Miss Beaufort is the right-hand man, but she's a lady.
Mr. Beaufort.
Who is this, Miss Beaufort?
A real pretty lady with a skin like those Douai Sucre candy bars my missus likes so much. Them are real nice to suckle on once the dinner is done and me and the missus sit down beside the radio. But I can't listen to the radio all the time. There's so much to
Véi,
do
esse cara
around
fala
here, and
muito,
I'm
véi.
always busy keeping things running here. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Espera, quem é essa senhora Beaufort que você
Oh,
mencionou?
Lizzie, she is a real sharp tool. Mr. Everett put her through some fancy school and everything, east of the river. 4 years she was gone, and when she came back, she was all fancy and lawyerly.
Então, Mafra, o Fleming é daí também. É daqui, né, de Maceió. Cara, eu moro aqui agora. É, o capitão você vai conhecer, né? Mas talvez você conheça o Fleming aí, né?
But she's a real nice girl. Grew up in this here neighborhood. Knows everybody and gets along with everyone. Real pillar of the community one day, I'm sure.
For a fraction of a second, there's sadness in his eyes.
If me missus and me was to have a child, I'd be real
Olha,
happy if
véi.
she turned out like her. But she can't have kids.
Nossa, que tristeza, velho.
Dr. Lemaitre said so, and she knows about such things. Been a doctor for almost 50 years she has.
Ele suspira e cai em silêncio, te observando mansamente com seus olhos azuis. Eu acho que você está fazendo um ótimo trabalho por aqui, Léo.
Yes, this place really seems to run like clockwork. Keep it up, Leo.
Well, thanks a lot. Coming from you, it means a lot, really.
Esse cara, gente boa. Você achava que não era possível, mas o sorriso se torna ainda mais largo.
Sometimes I feel some of the guys don't really get how much I bust my ass for them here. But you guys are alright.
2 de abril não é o dia, não sei.
The white rectangle on your clothes might not mean an awful lot in Martinez, but the recognition from an authority figure made Leo's day.
Você é o Léo que escreveu uma nota pra fazer mais bandas?
Oh, yes, yes. I leave all kinds of notes for myself. That old head of mine ain't so good at keeping things in no more. I almost forgot about the borscht.
O que você está dizendo sobre
Oh,
borscht?
yes. I've been taking special whirling borscht to the men every day since the strike started. It's very, very good. Makes a man feel so warm and happy. I feel like I could take on Mr. Renadan's boar dogs every time the lunch is done.
O que você quer dizer com levar essa sopa aos homens? Isso é pra greve?
Yes, yes. I'm taking it to them. The borscht keeps them happy and in fighting spirits. Makes you all warm inside. They brew it in the whirling in rags.
Espera aí, quem é que faz isso no
Oh, the
Whirling?
whirling's cook. He makes it. Them is always talking with Mr. Manana in that weird language and laughing together.
Ah.
He doesn't speak what we speak. He's from Grad.
Algo está errado com esse borscht. Vou dar uma olhada nisso.
Oh, sure, mister. Sure. You do that. Yes, sir.
He didn't actually understand what you meant, and now he's just nodding along.
O que há naquele container ali?
Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of containers here have nothing in them. They're just waiting to be loaded up.
Told you.
Estou procurando pelo líder do sindicato
Oh,
dos
you want
estivadores.
Mr. Everett then? He's an awfully nice fellow, he is. Him and his brother are both nice fellows. They've lived their entire lives in this here neighborhood.
Isso fala a mesma coisa, né?
Guys like Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar, his brother, are real good guys. Made Martinez what it is today. Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar and I went to the same school, we did. when we
Calma
were
agora,
boys.
Léo. Só quero saber onde posso encontrar o
Oh,
homem.
Mr. Everett is where he always is. In his office, of course. Bye-bye now.
Aqui do lado, né? Essa conversa aqui é doideira, viu? Ter no primeiro dia. É só com o líder do
Before
sindicato.
you is a walrus
Everett
of a
Clare.
man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least bit surprised to see you. With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He's with a mixture of expectation and impatience, well bottled.
Você está encarregado dos estivadores?
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi.
Mr. Dubois.
It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat.
Ele aponta para uma minúscula cadeira posta à sua
I'm
mesa grande.
Everett Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez.
O homem relaxa em sua cadeira e
I'd offer
continua.
you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up. You understand?
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a torture device.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll do my best.
É, velho.
Forget about that.
Sentar essa cadeira.
What's with this Dubois stuff?
Que é essa porra de
Getting
Dubois?
some seriously bad vibes from that name.
Ah. Por que você está me chamando de senhor Dubois?
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized manner, as equals. Take a seat.
As
I
equals, né? Numa
insist.
cadeira nojenta.
It's nothing. Yes, that's probably right. It's nothing. Forget about it. Filter it out.
Eu não sento, é meio que uma coisa minha.
Very well, Mr. Dubois. I respect a man with strong convictions.
Conforme ele balança a cabeça, os múltiplos queixos se movem como as ondas do
I,
oceano.
too, have convictions. One of which is that I will not engage with any man who won't face me at eye level. Should you find yourself more amenable in the future, I'd gladly resume our conversation. But until then, I'm afraid I must ask you to leave.
Ele se volta pra
You're no
mais escrever.
Titan of Felician, buddy. He's got you in a fork. Sit down or leave.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois.
Tem que sentar.
I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another.
É. Ele te dirige uma piscada astuta. Droga, essa cadeira é
So
desconfortável.
tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
Representante da milícia da...
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners. It pains me to say.
Véi, esse cara, ele é total...
This should take
Nossa.
care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead, take it.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Véi, aceitar é foda, né? Sério, você conhece
Yes,
Gart?
I know Lawrence. He's a real character. No union man in him. A real piece of work, that boy is.
With a grin, he points to the checker game. It's like you're on a game show. At least don't thank him for it.
25 real não é muito dinheiro não, né?
Is there anything you'd like to say to me?
No,
Não.
Cool? I wouldn't go that far. I'm sure there are cooler things than delivering a comically oversized novelty check to a cafeteria manager.
Ai, ó.
Sure.
Ele ficou
if that's
mal, ele
what's
ficou...
cool nowadays.
É porque ele fala, você fala, no, I'm cool. Né, essa é a tradução, né? Aí ele fala, legal, eu devia falar, não, tá legal. Essa devia ser a tradução, né?
Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak. I've got my best hounds looking for that lost gun.
his slug-like lips.
Cara sabe que a gente perdeu a arma.
But all you hear is an echo. Lost gun, lost gun, lost gun. The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only two words escape its gravitational pull. Lost and gun.
Não estou preocupado, eu cuido disso.
Are you all right, Harry? You say you got this, but you seem a little anxious to me. Don't be. Everything's going to be all right. It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouths. It's in a safe place. I just know it. I have a feeling everything's going to be all right.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Ah lá, pegou o cheque, a cadeira está te matando.
Officer, we will deal with this later. We don't need Mr. Clare's help with this.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Tenso.
Who does this
Passei.
guy think you are?
Caralho.
Ronnie the rookie? You ain't worried about
Ronnie the Rookie.
or unpaid bill or forgotten name. You're the bad cop. You're probably more corrupt than him.
É. Afunde na cadeira, dobrava, sorri e cruza suas mãos atrás das costas.
The fat man does the same, sinking deeper into his chair than one would think is physically possible. He seems to be enjoying your little display. Good. Now lean in with some corruption.
Escute, Evas, camarada. Camarada, nós dois sabemos o que faz as rodas do mundo girarem.
That we do, Harry. Let them say what they will about you and me. We're both born fighters.
Esse lutador poderia ter usado uma cadeira mais confortável. Bela jogada com a cadeira a propósito. Deu um bom jeito de manter seus convidados em rédeas curtas.
Why, thank you. It's always nice when a fellow professional appreciates your work.
That's it. Now kick back and add a final flourish for dignity.
Obrigado por sua hospitalidade. Sinta-se à vontade para me visitar na delegacia a qualquer momento. Esse é o vídeo de Worms e nós dois sabemos porque estou aqui. Para ajudar a aumentar seu tesouro. Que resposta, hein? Isso é convite de Worms, nós dois sabemos que estou aqui para ajudar a aumentar seu tesouro. Que eu respondo, hein?
You strike me as a reasonable man, Harry. I like that in a law man. Let's cut to the chase, shall we? What can Everard Clare do for you?
I think we'd like to ask you a few questions. Don't you think so, detective?
O tenente parece totalmente fora da
Somehow
situação.
you managed to get yourself out of this.
Nossa.
Now quick, keep the momentum up. Ask questions.
Quer falar sobre enforcamento.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I know everything that goes on around here, and I would love to discuss it with you. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me.
Eu sinto que tem um porém.
But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just calmly talk, exchange information, we could blow this thing wide open.
Yes, that sounds good. Let's do that.
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines, incredibly talented at opening doors.
Eu abri algumas portas na minha vida.
And I'm sure you're going to open this one with flying colors, Harry. This really is very simple, and there's nothing shady about it.
The stars aligned into a cosmic frown here. He has your fate decided. Bide your time, however, and let the stars continue their course. And that frown shall turn into a smile.
Caralho, velho.
Only if you play along.
Tá bom. Droga, está bem, eu vou dar uma olhada nisso. Nós precisamos falar sobre o homicídio.
Fantastic, my friend. Just let me know when it's done and we can take our friendship to the next level. You can get the key from Manana. He's down by the gate.
Abri a porta do apartamento de Everard.
Manana's like a free agent in the Union. Special operations. Hardened
Vai lá, capitão, vai lá.
A
Beijo.
real free thinker too. He'll tell you precisely where the door is. One last thing, Harry.
Boa noite, boa noite. Qualquer coisa volta aí que nós vamos até de madrugada agora, né?
Just open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door.
Beleza. Você me chamou de Senhor Dubois, por quê?
Of course. Let us dispatch with the formalities. You call me Everard. I call you
Nosso
Harry.
nome é Harry.
That's what the hanged corpse called you. Harry.
My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction amnesiac cop, aren't you? What are the odds of that?
Tem umas duas, né, eu acho.
I think the odds of that are very low.
É verdade, minha memória está um pouco nebulosa. Minha memória está boa, só estou te testando.
I assure you, there's nothing to be ashamed of, Harry. You're among friends, and the good news is, I have a big fat folder on you, Harry. I'm sure you have a lot of questions to ask. Maybe I can help you out. I'm sure you had some concerns you thought I might be able to address. And you were probably right. I can.
It's just a brown folder. You can't make out what's written on it.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his lost identity right now.
Dê outra olhada na pasta.
Everard's large hands are covering the folder, but the look on his face says, I know everything about you, Harry.
Não tem nada a esconder.
Oh, Harry. Oh, wow. This is really something.
I'm sure it's not that bad. At worst, he has an old RCM folder, and I very much doubt even that.
So how about it, Harry? You need assistance, I presume?
Vamos esclarecer isso. Qual é meu nome
It's
completo?
Harry Dubois.
Tudo bem, eu posso lidar com isso.
And I can work with you, Harry. Now, what else can I do for you?
Você sabe alguma coisa sobre minha família? Eu tenho esposa, filhos...
Family? Harry, you're not a family man. There's not one peep of family in here. Unless you think you're a family man, you strike yourself as a family man, Harry.
Você está certo, eu não sou.
That's why I like you, Harry. A good
Filho da
man
puta.
knows both his strengths
Puta nome
and
feio.
his weaknesses.
Nome
And you,
lindo,
my
velho.
friend, you are one of the all-time greats.
Que tipo de tiro diz que isso diz que eu sou?
Harry, you're not simply a cop, you're a star. A bright shining star in the drab law enforcement sky, outshining all other stars. You're a superstar.
É disso que eu gosto de você, Evra. Acho que você me
Of course
entende.
I do, Harry. And I'm gonna help you shine. I'm gonna put you on all the big stages. Your name in giant neon letters. Harry Dubois.
Filho da puta.
A
velho.
giant neon sign reading Harry Dubois, hanging from the Cavalson crane, can be seen all the way to Jamrock. Somewhere in Mirova, a beautiful woman sees the bright glow on the horizon and
Oh,
says
que
to
foda.
herself, "Oh my God, I shouldn't have left her."
Até parece, né, velho? Onde você conseguiu essa pasta?
Ah, this? My friends in your organization gave it to me, Harry.
I find that very suspicious. May I have a look?
I'm afraid this is meant for Union Eyes only, Mr. Kitsuragi. I'm sure you understand. Of
Tá bom.
course, Harry, of course.
Você não vai me perguntar como eu entrei?
Honestly, I didn't want to bring it up, Harry. I heard you have become Measurehead's race pupil.
Race People. Não sou pupilo das raças, apenas ouvi algumas coisas que ele tenta. Foi uma tática, eu precisava de entrar em alguma coisa. É, eu sou um grande racista. Realmente acredito no mistério das raças, estou contente por isso, não. Foi uma tática, eu precisava de alguma forma, não é como se eu fosse um racista
Of
agora.
course, Harry, of course. You're not some kind of a fantastic racist now. And rest assured, no one's gonna hear about it. No one's gonna know what you did with race there, Harry. Your race bonanza is safe with me.
Véi,
Word of how racy it got will never leave Martinez.
filho da puta, velho.
Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance to request it.
É... Sou bom suspeito.
I don't know what that means, Harry. Shady brew? There are so many moving parts in my operation, I can't keep track of them all. You know what? Don't even tell me. Whatever it is, do it. Surprise me. Just one thing. If you can, make it even shadier.
He sincerely has no idea what you were talking about.
Tá bom. O que há no container que está do lado de fora do seu
My
escritório?
dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbor. I couldn't possibly remember what's in all of them.
Tem alguma coisa especial nesse. Estava preso no guindaste que
Harry,
Valsinte.
you smooth-talking son of a bitch. Time is a precious resource, and I don't have enough of it to count
Smooth
the
talking,
containers.
son of a bitch.
Smooth talking. Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container.
Aí, ó.
You should at least try convincing it.
Vamos falar sobre minha arma perdida.
Yes, your lost gun. My best men are on it. They're turning every stone, searching every playground, asking kids, grandmas, everyone. Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure you of that. It's just a matter of time and effort.
The only way to find it seems to be working with him. He might even be holding your gun hostage.
Espero, poderia realmente manter minha arma com
Who
refém?
knows? Only one thing is certain. If you work with him, you're going to get it back. And working with him might be the only way to do it.
Significa que se eu fizer as coisas pra você, eu vou ter minha arma de
Damn it,
volta?
Harry. That's exactly what it means. I'm only kidding, of course.
Of course. I understand. We
Tá
have
bom.
Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate.
Ótimo, não gostaria de ficar preso.
Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white union man. Take care, Harry.
Valeu. Vou resolver esse trem dessa porta aí. Não, dá pra confiar nesse cara não, mas é o que a gente pode fazer, né? A gente não tem nenhuma opção.
You're back before the cargo container.
Que Valsund. Ao mesmo tempo, a outra opção é pra não confiar. Não, tem que confiar nele. Não, quer dizer, não tem que confiar nele, mas tem que trabalhar com ele, né? É isso, basicamente. Entre ele e a Joyce, eu prefiro trabalhar com ele. Véi, mas a Joyce, ela é a melhor personagem desse jogo. Mas ela é uma capitalista filha da puta, né? Não tem o que fazer. Utopia trabalhista, sem comprovação.
It's but a rest area on the path leading across open plains.
Sim.
Right. You talk to the boss, eye to eye, like men of the plain. If you have any more questions, I'm set to talk.
Everard disse que você tem uma chave pra porta.
What door is this key supposed to open?
Ele disse que pertencia a uma ratazana.
Oh, say no more. I got you. I got that key right here. And let me tell you, it's mighty good of you to help us out during the strike. Working class solidarity, as they say.
Eu ouvi algo sobre uma ratazana e não parece ser uma ratazana polar local, se é o que você me entende. Pisque. Não estou abrindo essa porta para mim, estou abrindo para todos os trabalhadores.
I knew this man was a commie. And it's a good thing you're doing too. Thanks. What you're looking for is a basement door behind the greenhouse. That's behind the whirling in rags. That's all I know. Our organization is what you call compartmentalized. Means we keep out of each other's business.
Okay, but where did you get the key from?
The janitor gave it to me. Nice fella. We talked about life and things that really, truly matter. None of this mess we're in. This jiving and juggling. What's it for? To feed our children, I guess.
Algo mais que eu deveria saber sobre essa tarefa, essa ratazana que eu
I'm
levo
more
essa
of a philosophical dock worker. I like to talk about the big picture stuff. Who I am, who you are, what we are fighting for.
Homem, toma um grande gole do cantil.
He is, and what they're fighting for. This is interesting.
Por que vocês estão em
We're
greve?
negotiating our share.
Seu quinhão? Espere. Não é sobre os salários da aposentadoria ou... Quão grande deve ser o quinhão pra você gostar?
This stuff, they already covered.
Então vocês não deveriam ser gratos, é muito mais do que a maioria das pessoas tem. Pelo menos você tem o benefício, já é alguma coisa. Por mais que você alimente o lobo.
The wolf always wants more. I like wolves.
Quão grande deveria ser o quinhão pra você gostar?
However, right now we want all the harbor workers to be on the company's board, so they could take part in the decision-making process.
Você é um comunista?
No. I don't think I'm a communist. Seeing something of value and saying I want it all to myself is a much older and simpler notion. No science to it at all. Even a weak child can think it. The only things holding someone back are I can't and I shouldn't.
Mas as coisas que você faz alinham-se admiravelmente bem com a República Mundial. Então por que você não se chama de comunista?
I have nothing against communists. They are honorable boiaderos.
Boiadeiros.
And they have good analysis. But my own code serves me well. If my code starts failing, a code can fail a man
Mais
as well
lúcido.
as a man can fail a code.
Ele é bom,
I will
velho.
have to submit to a new one, which may well be communism.
He knows who he is, firmly grounded, has no need to reinforce or elaborate his political identity to himself or others.
Eu acho que eu entendo.
See, I am primarily a lazy person.
Ele parece estar se divertindo como se pensasse sobre alguma piada particular ou algum mistério. O chefe Everard, você pode me dizer sobre ele?
I think it's best you make up your own mind now that you've met him. In my eyes, he is a capable organizer and a decent businessman.
O que faz o chefe de sindicato,
I
aliás?
guess you kind of get to be the village chief. He oversees the harbor, makes deals with the owners or other relevant parties,
Prolifere o comunismo.
watches out for his own.
By that, you mean corruption?
By heavens, why would he not be corrupt?
Aí, ó.
We live in a harsh and disordered world, see? And in this world, the old man is corrupt for our benefit, and we know it. Appreciate it even. He is, personally, not too lavish.
Aquela mesa parecia bem extravagante pra mim.
He is reasonably lavish, sure. That's his prerogative. It's not like you want a saintly demeanor on a corrupt motherfucker. That would be a manipulative illusion. Besides, there are no non-corrupt systems in the world anyway. And moralism is the most corrupt of them all.
É verdade, é verdade. Parece que você passou um bom tempo pensando sobre a situação
Sure.
política.
I've had the necessary free time. Fortunately, there's always time.
The look in his brown eyes conjures up an understanding. For him, having command of his time is the most important thing. It all comes together now. The way he speaks about scabs, his general attitude. He's a follower of a 500-year-old Franco-Nigerian Boyadero code, itself an appropriation of Vespertine cool. That of a noble peasant or a traveling herdsman. True to yourself, independent in your actions, loyal to your friends.
Talvez eu seja um boiadeiro?
No.
Eu poderia...
No. The man sits on the railing, his hands reaching far and wide. Yet it feels as if he could, effortlessly, go even wider, if need be. An endless torrent of time.
Foda. Alguma ideia sobre quem matou o
The
enforcado?
mercenary, eh? Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question. Why even do such a thing?
O mercenário está pendurado por um tipo bem específico de cinza de carga, do tipo usado em áreas de transporte pesado, portos, por exemplo.
What a thought! Why would noble workers resort to such a thing? Unless they were pushed, of course.
Forçados como?
Your dead guy was an enemy combatant.
Calma aí. O que isso
He was
significa?
an agent of the opposition, attempting to undermine our honorable efforts.
Você o matou?
I ain't the murdering type, but that's just me. Large organizations like our union have all sorts of men, with all sorts of skills.
Understood. This has been of limited use. Still, thank you.
No problem. I wish the best to you in your search. Sure, I'm glad it's not my search.
Beleza. Nessa porta. Muita coisa aqui, né? Livro rosa, vários livros, né? Olha a sacola plástica. Famosa sacolinha plástica. Para pegar coisas. Garrafas no chão. Para vender e conseguir dinheiro. Agora o cara virou um mendigo total, né? Robocop. Nos diz janela pegada. Tibbs tem janelas.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible.
Pobre pequeno visualizador, dá um
The
tapinha.
metal feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unhygienic.
Vandalismo, balança.
Adolescent kids.
A simple but clever solution to ruining a coin-operated viewer. It took ingenuity.
Olha
A
dentro.
thick layer of graffito covers the lenses.
Kuno,
You spell
né?
out the word Onug
Filho da
written
puta.
on the other side, with N and C scribbled backwards. Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast
Totalmente Robocop
studded
das
with
ideias.
concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts, lanky weather-worn wooden planks, an X-shaped cross topping its tower. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows.
Uma igreja, né?
Around the large wooden building, you see chunks of sea ice gathered on the beach, and a small tent set up on the ice. This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle while looking inside. Then use the focus knob to zoom in if necessary. Your money disappears into the coin slot. A clunk, the ring of metal.
Puxa alça e olha pra
The
dentro.
curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry, different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer stands a drab grey shape, like a ghost.
Gira o botão pra focar
The
sua visão.
lenses shift, The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In
Melhor
the
na Bahia.
ruins, a man-made structure is visible. A half-sunken sea fort. Its concrete almost reconquered by nature. It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch tree grows out of it. Its leaves ripped from it by the winter wind.
Aguente firme, pequenino.
The little brave birch tree seems to wave back in the wind.
Há ruínas de algum tipo de construção lá.
I don't have the eyesight to make it out.
Você nem tira os óculos para limpá-los. Morão solitário no mar, totalmente indiferentes da sua aproximação. A parede.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building.
Por que eu estou olhando para essa parede? 8%. Na luz crepuscular, algumas coisas se tornam mais claras.
You have no clue. It's just a wall. So many walls all over Martinez. Weather-worn, cracked, their paint peeling.
Mais uma roupa. E aqui é o lugar, né? Que a gente tem a
This
chave.
must be it. The basement door is weather-worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have turned green from sea air, and there's a
Boa tarde,
knob
Timmy, boa
shut
tarde.
like a lion's head.
Use a chave de maneiro para abrir a
You try
porta.
to be as silent as you can. It takes a bit of rattling of the handle to loosen the bolt. Finally, the door unlocks with a small clack. Thoughts race through your head. There's nothing else to do than to leave and tell Everard. No conceivable reason for you to intrude on the premises. Only curiosity could account for stepping.
Muito obrigado, Olidel. Muito obrigado pelos 12
Maybe
meses.
there's treasure in there. A white.
Vou entrar. O que é esse lugar, não é mesmo? Roubar coisa dele. Mas é cheio de roupas, convidados hospedados. Um livro titulado Mundo Oculto das Bengalas está aberto. Quase posso sentir o calor do sol
This is
vermelho.
the flag of Revachol, the suzerainty.
E esse sol?
This isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. This is the sevenfold sun miracle.
O que é o milagre do sol sétuplo?
It's an optical atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag.
Ajoelhe-se ante a bandeira. Tenente, a velha bandeira do soberano.
The tenant is an old-fashioned guy.
Não se ajoelhe para a bandeira.
The flag doesn't seem to mind. It's just a colorful fabric with a sun sewn onto it.
A bandeira não parece não se
All
importar.
feudal flags. It looks like a children's drawing.
Ah, mas eu vou pegar isso aqui também. Aqui admira herói de fantasia, cabelos louros e grossos. É, um racista, né?
A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure. A dark-skinned woman grinning amidst mysterious symbols. A broad-shouldered man shoveling potatoes, and others.
Toca
A
nos
little
canecos.
ring. Though cheerful, the images on the ceramic make you vaguely uncomfortable. There's something disdainful in the way the curves and lines of the bodies were drawn. The images betray a lack of interest in human beings. They are merely unflattering caricatures.
O que quer dizer com
The owner
desconfortável?
of these mugs doesn't like people of other ethnicities very much.
Olha os comentários, olha as respostas que tem, velho. E daí, eles podem pensar o que quiserem, um livro, velho. Tem como você ser racista na porra do jogo. O típico cuzão.
This person is unhappy.
É.
The lieutenant picks up one of the mugs, then puts it back down. With
É o racista da outra caneca, né?
I'm beginning to feel better about breaking into this man's apartment.
É, assim. Limpe sua caneca do homem amarelo e compare.
Yes, your broken mug friend would feel very much at home here. The same humor, the same mocking lines.
There's the missing tin soldier. Whoever lives here might have used the Whirling's container to dump his trash.
Não, vocês já viram essa galera que faz a build racista? É tipo assim, o jogo fica zoando a idiotice da pessoa ser racista o tempo todo, tá ligado?
And now they've drawn the ire of the Union. The plot thickens, as
The
they
plot
say.
thickens.
An interesting little clue. Let's see where this goes. Clues have a way of magically connecting to other clues down the road. Perhaps you should break into apartments more often.
Sim. Você acha mesmo que é a pessoa que colocou as roupas do morto no lixo?
I'm not expecting too much from this clothes in the trash lead either way. It might turn out to be some random local matter, but still, a nice coincidence.
Sim.
A row of mugs.
Tem essa aqui chamada Half-Light. É, o entre luzes, né? Então a gente vai vir pra cá em breve. Só quero catar as garrafinhas. Uma vez que a gente já tá indo pra lá, né? Então vamos ter a conversa com essa representar.
Up here, Piggo.
Trancado. Eita, Martinez. Se houve crias distantes das aves marinhas. Finalmente dando rolê na cidade, né? A gente não deu ainda o rolê. Rádio de pneu leva cobertura, chuva de lama quase lavado. Vender aqui umas.
The tear machines. Your bottles clunk into the machine.
1,60. Pouquíssimo dinheiro, né, velho? Deixa eu só ver um trem. Dá pra usar os dois de boa, né? Caixa comunista é boa demais, então nós vamos fazer. Da outra vez a gente não chegou a fazer, né? Caralho, muita garrafa aqui, hein? Parece que alguém fez uma festona aqui, hein? E foi a gente. Isso mesmo, você consegue abrir a caixa, né? Isso que eu tava pensando. Aí, porra. Meia luz. Entre luz que eu falei, né? Essa luva, ela é boa, mas ela... a gente já tem, né? Essa luva é top. Já não tem chapéu, então vou mandar esse aqui. Que estilo, tá estiloso demais. Ô, fiz seu trabalho pra você.
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. You don't have to sit down this time, since you've already sat on that chair.
Abri a porta que você me pediu. Podemos discutir sobre o
I'm
homicídio
very
agora?
glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you?
There is no way to sway this man in any direction. He is unsuggestible and unswayable. Just tell the truth.
Eu posso ter entrado e visto uma coleção de canecas
Just
racistas.
as I thought. Culturally antiquated mug collection. What a weasel. Pissing on Everart's Rainbow Coalition. Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why.
Isso.
Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good.
Coleção... a coleção de canecas que eu mencionei saiu no apartamento. Encontrei uma caneca similar no lixo com as roupas enforcadas.
Racist mugs in the trash and in the apartment. You guys are just like it.
Véi, ele é muito irônico, velho.
I have so much confidence in the ability
Muito mentiroso,
of
filho da puta.
organization. I'm relieved you're doing this and leaving me to do what I do best, helping people with the power of politics.
Yes, yes. Do you think this weasel is somehow connected to the murder?
Oh no, 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 no. I don't cross paths like that. All I want is for you to succeed in your investigation. I would never complicate things for you.
Mas essa ratazana pode ter feito limpeza para os
Believe me,
assassinos.
Harry, he's a nobody. Just your basement variety nobody. Can't imagine him being connected to a high-caliber case like this. But he does live nearby. Maybe it's a pedantic weasel. Fascists are known to be neat freaks. I feel like a real detective right now, Harry. Am I getting this right?
Grande técnica, né? Trabalho policial é mais do que bater uma cacetete imaginária, não diga nada.
Of course, Harry. Stoic silence. I like that. Very befitting a police officer. I'm not a real detective. You are.
Você disse que o linchamento e a greve estão relacionados
By
com...
now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines.
Dá nos nervos, velho.
Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps.
O que você quer dizer?
Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor. Can you imagine
Plot
that?
thickens, pesado agora.
Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant.
Você tem um elefante na vila?
No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical and so is the village, but the mercs and their brutality are very real.
Continue.
Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container.
Que loucura, né? Espera, eles movem o container.
Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what
O cara não consegue nem andar, velho.
They lift my office with that big
É uma
crane.
metáfora da
It's
metáfora,
actually
metáfora da
very
metáfora,
fun.
né?
You should try it. But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types.
A metáfora é que o cara líder do sindicato comunista e tudo mais é o tipo, literalmente a imagem do capitalista gordo, tá ligado? Que cheio do dinheiro.
One of them got downright suicidal. Getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
What makes you think the Wild Pines negotiator can't control them?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill.
Espero toda a vizinhança tem envolvido nisso.
Potentially, Harry, potentially. We got arm wrestling champions, rowing club people, ex-coal miners, tough guys, all ready to spring into action for their home base.
Quem exatamente fez a
There's a
pressão?
militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood, making sure everything runs smoothly. They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
A polícia.
So these idealists killed our victim?
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
Lawyer girl?
If he's just boasting, then it sure doesn't feel like that to you. He's not worried.
Você mencionou... Como você sabe que os mercenários foram contratados pela companhia de
How
exportação?
do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry.
Nossa.
These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company, after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
É.
He's not scared of them. If anything, he likes them being here. Strange.
Você mencionou uma advogada mirim?
Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal.
Fale-me sobre Titus Hardy e o bando dele.
Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them.
7.
Exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Interesting. Who's second in command?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinez and Revachol in mind. Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
Onde eu posso encontrar eles? O reservado do sindicato no Williams está
You
vazio.
know what, Harry? I got a feeling they're gonna show up in full force tomorrow.
A feeling.
The lieutenant marks something in his notebook.
No futuro poderia usar seu apoio. Você pode pedir aos Hard Boys para
But of
cooperar?
course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk.
When you meet this Titus, tell him about this. See what he has to say.
Beleza.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real.
Pegue.
The lieutenant watches you pocket the banknote. He looks a little puzzled. How many micro bribes would this guy take?
Good boy. A real team player. Now, do you have any more questions?
Boa conversa, não coloquei
Was
por
this
hora.
a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But It's like I can't completely trust you. Yet.
Yet?
Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left.
A man of the
I
left.
want to, but I just can't.
A man of the left. So you have to be a social democrat. He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
O que isso quer dizer? Eu sou mais esquerdo que você.
You're saying it, but I don't believe you. You know how it is. Company snitches, agent provocateurs everywhere. I'm barricaded.
Eu sou mais de esquerda que você, é uma frase mais...
Get a message out. Will you help me?
What would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
Kim, o que você acha disso?
Depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
But, he thinks, it's your call.
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm gonna hand you the keys to Martin A's, and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing.
Você se fudeu, Del? Não, que isso. Essas assinaturas são... Vamos ver, pra que são essas assinaturas?
Asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martin A's. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates. There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already
Eu acho que é mais.
I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry.
Onde é esse lugar
On the
exatamente?
coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it. A gloomy place. You'll find it. I trust your detective skills, Harry.
O que vai acontecer com os moradores
They are
atuais?
just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth center, designed by the best architects from Stella
Eles nem
Maris.
vão ser derrubados de lá, só vou ter que aguentar barulho de construção, sim. Tudo bem, se eu estiver por lá eu posso pedir a
You bring
eles.
joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here, you need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I hear there is some trouble with the water lock, but they should fix it by Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning, né? Hoje é segunda.
Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then, I'll know you're a solid socialist.
Solid socialist. Beleza.
See you soon, Debarder. Just kidding, but not too much.
Ai, ai, nos veremos de novo. We'll see each other again. Tá bom, tem que conversar com... a representante da Wild Pines. Eu acho que é isso que nós vamos fazer hoje.
You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly.
Está o resto da armadura. Quando mentir pra você com o voto de confronte. Comece a acesso autorizado ao lixo do Wheeling. Com todas as peças, o bote especial. Cozinha do Wheeling está preparando. Você pode colocar na cozinha e verifique de perto. Beleza. É um rolê vir aqui e voltar, velho. Por isso é bom você fazer tudo e não voltar aqui, assim. Quase nunca. Tá vendo, né? Você tem que entrar e sair em várias portas. Tempo perdido. Tempo precioso. Vender aqui as garrafas.
The tear machines, your bottles climb.
Cara, tá sem beber o dia todo, meu filho.
Hello again, officer.
You see a set of tires.
Kuno,
does Kuno care?
eu falei com o Maneno sobre a armadura.
So?
Ele disse que você prometeu soltar os porcos em cima dele.
Yeah, so? Kuno did sick the pigs on him. Kuno's a man of his word.
Kuno sent your fat ass running around like jello.
Não.
Look, pig. Kuno sent you to rough some people up. Kuno played you. That happened. Now you and Kuno should move on.
Eu vou melhorar disso,
You
Kuno.
got fucked. You got fucked, pig. Fucked bad. Of course you're gonna remember this. Now get the fuck out of here, Griffin the Kuno.
Griffin the
After
Kuno.
this shit, you better have something real interesting to say if you want to stay in Kuno's face.
Yeah, real interesting.
Kuno doesn't.
Então, Kuno.
An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material.
Que é
It's
isso?
nothing. Someone just left some roofing material slanted against an old shack. Because it's nice
Caralho,
and
eu
oily,
passei, velho. Não
well-laid
passei.
pallets, easy on the eyes, rhythmic pattern, calms your mind.
Ó,
Mammals like this stuff. No, there's more to this. You get this strange feeling.
que sensação.
Hard to say. It's gone now. Feelings pass, you see. Especially
Foda, não passamos na porra do teste mais básico, velho. Tá bom. Próximos episódios, viu, Kuno? Próximos episódios. Deixa eu só ver um trem.
Fuck does
Esse
Kuno
teste é
care?
branco?
he's on your crime scene, bossing you around. And he's been here for some time too. This is where he hangs out. You have to get more out of him. He could be useful.
Kuno, Cidade da Raiva, Cidade do Outono, o que está acontecendo lá? Estou intrigado.
No! You told him about it and now he knows your name.
Uf.
This city is not fucking lame. You are lame. Kuno's tired of defending Rage City from. Just fuck off, alright? And fuck you too, putting Kuno on the spot like that. Kuno doesn't need to fucking explain his shit. Kuno's king. He rules here. Fuck did you want?
Explain himself, as if explaining some kind of work, some kind of avant-garde work way ahead of its
Sim,
time.
eu estou intrigado.
You must get to the bottom of this one of these days. Sadly.
Kuno doesn't fucking care.
Estamos com azar pra caralho nos dados aí, né? Tá bom. Amanhã nós vamos upar umas coisinhas. Amiga,
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open.
eu só falei, olá.
Are you interested in a new and exciting book?
Que tipo de loja é essa, afinal?
It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's called Crime, Romance, and biographies of famous people.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Uou, 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 uou.
Hold your horses. gentlemen.
Sem fracasso, velho. Fracasso. Uou, uou, uou. Falou coisa demais, né? Que é um livro.
That is a book. They have stories inside them. It's like someone told you a story in a really long letter.
Que é um cartão
A
postal?
postcard is a small cardboard picture. You can write a few words on the other side and send it to your friend or beloved.
She is unfazed by your questions. She would consider it impolite to point out any perceived weirdness.
O que é um jogo de tabuleiro?
Board games are like little games on a table, made to pass the time. There are several,
Kuno é um
games,
gênio compreendido.
but sailors here mostly buy cards.
Já veio os caras. Kuno did nothing wrong,
My
né?
pleasure. Anything else you'd like to know?
Tudo bem se eu fizer algumas
Okay,
perguntas?
sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books.
Diga, criança, você por acaso não conhece uma boa geladeira, não é?
Fridge?
Sim, como uma grande geladeira que o tira pode ler e colocar um cadáver dentro.
You mean like the ice bear fridge? Man, that's scary.
Ice bear fridge?
Yes, like a bear but white. There's a fridge below the building in the basement with red glowing eyes. I went back there once, behind the bookstore. Mum doesn't want me to go there anymore. Not that I want to. It was pretty scary.
E tem uma geladeira grande lá.
Yes.
Mais uma coisa, como faço pra entrar no prédio?
That's a problem. The only way in is through the bookstore, but my mum is pretty strict about not letting anyone in. But I don't know, you're a policeman. Maybe you can convince her somehow. Anyway,
Qual o seu nome?
My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside minding the register or organizing the stock. Feel free to step in and browse our wares.
E você está parado aqui no frio por quê?
I'm signaling that the store is open.
É foda, né? A criança trabalhando. É foda.
They'd miss out on the crime, romance, and biographies of famous people.
A sudden gush of wind turns the pages of the books on the counters. She covers her face, smiling.
Você está com frio? Posso te ajudar de alguma forma?
Kind of you to offer, sir.
Ela não sabe mais o que
What
dizer.
could you do to help her anyway?
Eu deveria ter uma palavra com a dona da loja, talvez. Eu poderia ajudar desmantelando brutalmente o livre mercado.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to help Mum out with the store.
Peraí.
My name is Feel free to step in. I'm signaling that the
A sudden gush of wind turns the...
Kind of you to offer.
What could you do to help her anyway?
Oh, no, sir. I'm happy to help Mum by luring in customers.
Tá feliz, né?
Besides, I have some hot juice in my vacuum bottle to keep warm.
Você não deveria estar na escola ou algo assim?
I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running.
No Reddit diz que tem um post lá, I punched Kuno and now I'm sad. É foda. Ah, a história do Kuno é boa, a gente vai desenvolver ela mais aqui, né? Ir para a escola não é importante não é mais importante do que isso?
Mum says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mum says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life. You succeed.
Véi, essa mãe
There is
sua.
stress and unease behind these words. She's reciting etiquette.
Como vão os
Mum
negócios?
says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being cursed.
Cursed?
Behind her, the window has been boarded up. You sense the boards creaking, twisting for a second, and some kind of doubt in her tense shoulders.
Amaldiçoado de que jeito?
Cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir.
Tomar no cu.
That they all go,
Tomar no cu. Que todos eles vão tomar no cu. A falência.
exactly. But we've been doing fine so far.
Isso parece ser muito sério. Eu provavelmente deveria dar uma olhada nisso. Estreite os olhos e olhe através da...
We can go into the bookstore and ask about the case. But I don't see much more to look into here.
Yes, please do look at our wares inside. The postcards and board games you asked about are also there, sir.
O que você sabe sobre os outros negócios falidos?
Nothing really, sir. Mum doesn't allow me to sneak around in the back rooms or the cellar. I don't really know what's there.
Como essa maldição se manifesta?
It does not manifest itself in any way. It does not exist. I liked it better when we were talking about whether it's appropriate to stand out in the freezing weather.
Mas Kim, as más infestações
No
plasmáticas?
such thing.
Anything else you wanted to talk about, sir?
Chega de maldição por
Maybe I can
enquanto.
tell you about some of our books instead.
Que papo de crime é
Crime
esse?
fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals.
Espera, não é crime ficção. Eu preciso saber o que é crime. É tão ruim assim? Eu vou explicar isso.
Crime is what we were solving before this conversation
O que
began.
alguém iria querer ler sobre crime?
It's exciting to people, I guess. They get to imagine dangerous things, and it's kind of like a puzzle, where you can guess who the criminal is, or
Meio
how the good guys
metalinguística
are
aqui,
going to
né?
catch him.
Eu também sou um policial a
You
propósito.
don't look much like a policeman.
Ah, bem, como é um policial
Didn't
então?
mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen.
Ela aponta para a capa do livro. Eu costumava ser exatamente como aquele cara, o Mullen, então eu decidi viver um pouco.
What's that mean?
Ah, você sabe, libertar-se, fazer o inferno,
And
desabafar.
everything's better now, sir?
Eu não sei.
Why is that?
Um homem nunca pode ser verdadeiramente feliz com quem ele é. Caralho, que frase, velho. Você vai entender quando for mais velho. Olha pra mim, uma besta horrível, um fracasso policial, uma desgraça. Você vai entender quando for mais velho.
Okay. I shouldn't have said that thing about Dick Mullen.
Sabe, ninguém realmente se parece com o cara na foto. Isso é apenas uma fantasia estúpida de uma. Não é o seu corpo que é importante do seu trabalho policial de qualquer maneira. É a sua aponte pra cabeça.
Head? Yes.
No, you're mine.
Uma mente de mercúrio. Esse cara Mullen parece que precisa de 4 horas apenas pra ter uma única ideia.
No, he's wicked smart in the stories.
Claro, quando o autor pensa por ele, o verdadeiro policial precisa pensar e agir por conta própria. Véi, ele tá conversando sério com a menina.
Like you, sir. Of course. He's just a fictional character. He's no match for you. Maybe you
Verdade.
can show me some real police work, sir. Like in the books.
Certo, vou deduzir algo agora.
The girl keeps her hands folded, hidden. Why is that?
Ei, por que você mantém suas mãos
What
cruzadas?
do you mean, sir?
She knows where this is going.
Você não precisa se preocupar, estou aqui para ajudar.
She looks around anxiously. Her hands remain folded in front of her. She doesn't want to show them. The lieutenant stands by, looking at the two of you with little interest. A facade of true professionalism. He is far more intrigued by the situation than his poise reveals.
Você me ouviu? Levante as mãos.
She brings out her reddened hands. Her nails frayed, nearly chewed down to the flesh.
Tenso. Você rói as
And
unhas.
you knew this from me keeping my hands folded?
Houve algumas outras dicas.
Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that.
Ela não está impressionada.
She actually is impressed. This is more like a defensive reflex.
Quer mais? Aposto que posso descobrir por que você rói as unhas. Dei alguns motivos em mente.
She nods, half provocative, half enthusiastic.
Unhas mastigadas significa que você está reciclando material do seu corpo. É uma dedicação intensa ao modo de negócio, a riqueza sem sacrifício pessoal. Você está tenso por causa da sua mãe e da pressão que ela está colocando sobre
Maybe
você.
so, sir. Okay, I know it's a bad habit, and I shouldn't.
De qualquer maneira, outra dedução pelo detetive número 1 da
It's
cidade.
okay, sir.
Tendência
There's more that
rebelde.
can be achieved here. Ask her to do the same.
Você acha tudo bem, faça melhor, deduza algo sobre mim.
You're quite sober.
Oh,
The lieutenant does not flinch at the comment. He does not flinch even a single bit. He is intensely not flinching.
not flinching.
Takes effort.
Espere, como você sabe que geralmente eu não estou? Eu também estou triste, minha cabeça dói.
Because you usually aren't.
Eu também estou triste, minha cabeça dói.
I'm sorry, sir. I hope things get better soon.
Ela olha você nos olhos, simpatia brilhando no rosto.
There she stands, swaying on her feet, assaulted by the early spring breeze. She
É outro
smiles
teste,
at
velho.
you. The whole situation suddenly feels familiar, somehow.
O que é
It's
romance?
the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and
Véi,
the bad man.
esse é um romance.
Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady business, sir.
Que tal um homem pobre ficar com a senhora rica?
It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process. Or should actually
Véi,
be
é
rich
verdade.
himself,
Nossa,
but he's lost
esses
his
romances
family
clássicos são
property
tudo assim,
unjustly,
meu.
like during the revolution or something.
Entendi.
Those are unhappy books, for most of the pages. People sad about what they have lost, but then it all turns out just fine in the end.
E quando os dois homens são maus?
These are not very common. You can't have a choice between bad and bad. Nobody wants to read a story like that.
E se ela for muito bem escrita?
Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either, because she doesn't need a bad man. Yes, that would be interesting.
E quando todos são pobres?
That's really not a proper romance story. That's more like everyday life.
Às vezes você tem que escrever sobre as coisas da vida real.
Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone is happy in the end.
Que tal um livro onde o negócio de homem e mulher não dá certo?
I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum.
Sim, você acha que ela tem algum sobre um término extremamente doloroso?
I don't think it's a romance story if the main characters break up, though.
Não pense assim. Aquele em que eles mergulham em espiral tórrida de dor e recriminação, só que é muito longo e prolongado, com cicatrizes para a vida, mesmo fantasma.
No, I don't know.
Não te lembra nada? Tudo bem, vou perguntar à sua mãe.
Yes, she knows books, definitely.
What was that?
What was
An
that?
idea for an unfinished novel stuck somewhere in
Opa.
your forebrain?
Isso é romance suficiente para mim,
Maybe
cheio dos
some about
perguntas.
other books.
Quem são essas pessoas famosas?
Kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians, those kinds of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them. I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame.
Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them.
Ler isso não torna os leitores mais famosos,
But
torna?
it does make the famous people more famous.
Ah, a fama parece deliciosa. Talvez alguém escreva um livro sobre mim um dia.
Why would they do that, sir?
Porque eu seria um tiro de celebridade nos jornais e tudo mais. Isso vai mostrar a eles.
That's so cool. Maybe they'll make you a book cover picture and everything. standing over a dead body, holding a gun.
O que você está perdendo aqui? Porque isso parece familiar. Sugestão 42, vamos lá. Bege, não passa. Está muito azar, velho, com os testes. Beleza. Vamos ver essa tal dessa geladeira, né? Ih, fechou, né? Tá fechado. Passou das 9. Tá bom, mas a gente olha isso. Conversar com a nossa representante da Wild Pines. Uma conversa longa. E pra mim, a melhor personagem do jogo. Vocês falarem que vocês gostam muito de outros, né? Mas... Sugestão melos. Amanhã a gente vai começar o rolê de começar a ficar trocando de roupa pra fazer os testes, viu, galera? Esse primeiro dia eu gosto. Ah, uma garota lá em cima, ela derramou a tinta. Parece que existiam mais construções aqui em algum momento, décadas atrás. O bojo deste barco brilha como se tivesse sido pintado recentemente. Trocação reservada para residentes de Rue Saint-Ghislain 33A. Seu quarto no Wheeling não é muito maior que essa chalupa. Isso vale mais do que você vai ganhar em toda a sua vida. E lá vem ela. Joyce. Eu amo a Joyce, velho.
Smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Eu amo ela demais, nossa senhora, mas ela é uma... Não sei, eu acho que eu tenho uma queda por ela, assim.
I'm Joyce.
A Suzana sempre disse que eu tenho uma queda por patricinhas.
Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
Joyce L? É o L de quê?
Beaton, my maiden name.
A moça do balanço da manga. RCM, o que é isso? Estou um pouco no escuro aqui.
I meant you, the Revachol Citizens Militia, the police.
O que nos denunciou?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Relax. She meant it in jest.
Aperta a mão
I'm
dela.
glad to see you here.
A perto dela é forte e frio.
Like steel. There is strength there. If she wanted.
Falei ela é Margaret Thatcher. Não, não é Margaret Thatcher, não.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. The lieutenant is hatching some scheme. It happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink at you?
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful.
Você está em um barco.
Why, yes I am.
Não há muitas pessoas em barcos, não é?
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
Espere, nós estamos num arquipélago?
Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou.
Le Caillou. Caiu. Achei que estávamos em Revachol.
We are. And the city of Revachol is on the island of Le Caillou.
Mesmo assim, eu não vi mais ninguém navegar por aqui.
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit.
Ele gosta do carro.
It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
Ela tem um nome?
The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19, because that's the type of sloop it is.
The word "it" feels strange. Such a beautiful boat deserves a proper name.
Legal, mas seu barco realmente precisa de um nome.
Okay. How about Cordelati 19? Why?
Ela bate na tela do barco e faz um som.
Because it was manufactured in Revachol East by a company called Cordeleche, and its hull is 19 paces long.
Que tal Dolores?
Why Dolores?
Só gosto do nome por algum motivo.
Well, it means nothing to me. I think I'll stick with the factory name. But thank you for the suggestion.
Não, pera aí, vamos tentar outro nome então.
Because it was manufactured in Revachol East by a company called...
Tal peixe elegante. Porque é elegante como um
I
peixe.
think I'll stick with the factory name. Okay, because it was
Is-
the X something. The X what?
Executive.
Oh, I do like the sound of that. It sounds so decisive, so powerful.
Executive. Certo, mas que tipo de barco é
It's
esse?
a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer.
Lindo barco.
It also happens to be rated for
Esse esposo é
Category 1
foda.
racing. Though these days I mainly use it for business.
Gosta dele?
My sloop, I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
E the Eels Hips, baby, é o modo
I'm
Borogodó.
enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Colequem.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Você tem uma licença pra esse barco?
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain,
Porcelain.
white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Her nonchalance might be related to something called the Wayfarer Act, a law that says she doesn't need a license. Sly Fox, you're not aggressive enough to harass her further.
Ó, que foda, né? A gente passou nos dois testes. Se você não passar, você pode começar a tentar cobrar dela a carteira, né? De motorista, de piloto de barco. A gente passou nos dois. Acho que estou entendendo a coisa do barco. Fale-me sobre a Wild Pines. O que você faz?
What we do? I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
Então o que eles fazem?
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things.
Eu gosto muito dessa conversa com a Joyce, que ela te dá ela te dá muita história sobre o mundo mesmo, né, velho? Ela é uma mulher muito inteligente.
Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
Quanto dinheiro a Wild Pines
I'm
tem?
not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
A billion?
E billion? O que
It's a
exatamente é um bilhão?
number, officer. A big one.
Do que é
It's
composto?
made of 1,000 millions. A million is made of 1,000 thousands.
Uau.
20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate
Que a gente não passou no teste de
72,000 people.
enciclopédia.
They all need to be paid. Then there are capital improvements, interest payments.
Uma onda atinge o saveiro, ela agarra o esteio para se
A
equilibrar.
conglomerate the size of the Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It's a tremendous responsibility.
Onde a Wild Pines arruma todos esses bilhões?
They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samoan and
É meio que as
Easters 250 years ago, when pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted
Índios orientais,
northern
assim, né?
Canada on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care,
Companhia das Índias
deliberation
Orientais.
and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
O que um sistema tão grande quer com um lugar como este?
You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
8% de toda a carga do mundo, isso é realmente um grande feito.
There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen.
Então, gente, a 15ª indústria é um rolê de... nomes de indústrias revolucionários surgem de sua cabeça. Soltas a menção de Wild Pines, monopólios régios, polvos e peixes de espada. A maioria deles já se foi. Existem apenas 14. Então por que você sente como se houvesse uma 15ª Endotribo? É uma coisa boa de destravar, talvez. Eu não lembro se eu fiz essa aqui da outra vez. Mas assim, todos é bom encher tudo.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
O que você pode me dizer sobre essa greve?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
Espere, se eu quiser ouvir sobre segredos comerciais.
First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Aliments. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus.
Povo, eu vou
Good
matá-lo.
luck is only kept in place by the vested interests of half the
Direito de
civilized
ficar
world,
calada, né?
including your own.
What the ma'am means is that the Emergencies Act and the RCM both get their authority from the coalition government.
A gente
But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike.
Qual é o seu papel nisso
I
exatamente?
believe the official title is Senior Labour Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place.
Wait, she just admitted that the lynching and the strike are connected.
Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Então a greve está conectada ao lixamento.
Yes, I believe there is a connection, but that's a subject for later.
Os olhos dela se estreitam.
She's resolute in this, yet you sense that she wants to tell you. You'll have to earn her trust first.
Eu não vou entrar nesse rolê aqui não. Como estavam as negociações antes do
Let's
lixamento?
say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago.
3 semanas,
Yes,
caralho.
in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
Tem.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
O que aconteceu com o Gaumont?
Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it?
Ela faz uma pausa para se recompor.
Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Está bem então.
Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union.
Quais são as demandas
There
deles?
are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes, every worker, a member of the board.
Eu gosto disso.
Then you might also like their other slogan. Demand democracy.
Não é comunista pesado o suficiente para mim.
Personally, I agree. It lacks the pizzazzo of every worker a member of the board.
É verdade, pessoalmente eu concordo. O que exatamente eles querem dizer com isso? Qual é a demanda?
It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about what, about anything really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal.
Eu gosto
Just
disso.
so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines.
É uma moeda de, né?
Essentially, not only are they
É um jeito deles
kings of the
segurarem.
company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
O rei está morto. Viva os trabalhadores.
That may well be. It's not up to me to decide who is king, but as negotiations go, it's not a swell start.
O que você vai fazer?
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again.
Os caras estão querendo segurar, né, o tempo.
And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to
Manhana, né?
work. I think he said it was, call me manana.
Call me manhana.
This checks out.
pelegos do portão, você os colocou lá?
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock come to plead for work where the union refuses to?
Tá parecendo
Don't
que...
let her answer it herself.
Não deixa ela responder, Não, quero dizer pelegos.
If these workers were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not yet, at least.
Not yet.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
O que você acha de Evrart?
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Lógico que não, né? Mesmo.
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
If you were to prick him with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier.
Parece que você está prestes a atacá-la com
Oh,
florete.
heavens, no. We get along just fine. Yet, now that you mention it, I can't stop imagining that black treacle just dribbling down his double chin.
Esse é o Evrart, certo?
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
Uai. Espera, tem dois?
Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over.
Ah, o mandato de um acaba, o outro entra, né, velho? Os caras controlam o sindicato pesado.
How they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
E o próprio sindicato, fora os irmãos Clare.
The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that.
Tá vendo? A Joyce, ela é uma pessoa... É curioso demais. É muito difícil achar uma pessoa ultracapitalista, liberal, assim, né? Que tem valores ainda, né? De certa forma.
Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed...
Mas ainda é uma
into
capitalista, filho da puta.
How do you say?
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, we are forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother.
Ela é egoísta, de certa forma, né? É, como todo rico é, né? De certa forma.
And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is...
Uma sanguessuga gigante sugando a vida de Rebachol, um defensor eficaz dos direitos dos trabalhadores locais.
Indeed, and a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with
Uma
what
sanguessuga,
amounts
né?
to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the leech always hungers.
Mais uma coisa, você disse que aconteceu alguma coisa nas eleições?
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity.
Não, peraí, eu apertei
If you
errado.
were to prick him with something sharp, you could see it oozing out.
Oh heavens, no. He is the most corrupt Yes, it's how the Débard organize...
A mob.
Refresh... And your opinion, detective? Indeed. And a hungry one. Sadly,
5, né?
Wild
Mais uma
Pines
coisa, você disse que aconteceu alguma
I'm
coisa
glad
nas
you
eleições.
asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore. Or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
Sumiu.
This forewoman, her name?
Essa capataz, qual é o nome dela?
Sadly, the company records do not even give a name. She's just forewoman in private correspondence. Holly. I don't even know if it's a sir or given name. And I don't have access to the union's files.
Estranho.
Downright haunting, if you ask me.
Mataram, né,
The Wild
pessoal?
Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Isso, tudo que precisa aqui, vamos mudar de assunto. Muita
How
coisa pra
else
conversar
can
com
I
ela, tá
help?
vendo? O que você sabe, pode me dizer sobre esse linchamento?
Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41, Detective Dubois. I'm afraid Harry doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
Oh, and what happened to yours, Detective?
Awkwardness washes over the conversation.
Cadê
The
o
woman
nosso?
doesn't like this turn of events.
Lembra quando meu parceiro disse que eu recentemente sofri um episódio médico incomum? Meu distintivo perdido está relacionado a isso.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
Eu poderia até ter comido, não me lembro de nada. Este mundo está essa cidade nada. É possível, depois de uma noite de bebedeira, eu perdi toda a memória da minha vida e do mundo.
Oh dear. I suppose this does explain some of the more curious turns in our conversation.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional. but
Very
he
unconventional.
is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
É preciso do distintivo.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Que tipo de arranjo
I
seria?
mean, favors for favors. A dirty alliance of some sort.
Véi, se eu não passar, como negocio minha saída disso? Caralho. Véi, 83%, bora lá.
Easy.
Graças a
Just
Deus.
offer her a favor. Like I said, nice and dirty.
Tá bom. Certamente alguma outra maneira de demonstrar nossos credenciais oficiais da lei.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible.
You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain.
Hard bargain. Como que?
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason.
They're profiting from this trade.
Sim.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones. Or you can recover your badge. Though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Com licença, por um momento, senhora.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
Eu ainda não paguei o gerente da cafeteria pelos estragos.
You should take care of that, then.
Mas eu não tenho dinheiro.
Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the streets. We'll figure something out.
Though he finds this situation frustrating, he is doing his best to not make you feel any worse than you already do.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Opa, a gente já conversou com o cara, né? Você sabe algo sobre essas tatuagens? Mostra a foto pra ela.
That's the man who was killed.
Então
I'm
você
afraid
sabe
this
algo.
is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question.
Então você sabe algo sobre as tatuagens.
Better not tie the fourth day to the Bat's day on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with.
She wants to answer the question. Protocol keeps her from it.
Você parece inteligente. Eu preciso de alguém que me dá um resumo sobre essa realidade
This
que estamos.
reality.
É relacionado àquele episódio médico. Eu tenho problemas pra lembrar até dos conceitos mais básicos da realidade. Ela que resolve isso, né?
Yes, the episode. Sounds like an acute case of encephalopathy now that I think of it.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of reality.
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
Tá bom. This all look good. Ele falando sobre a quantidade, né, de... Tá bom. Onde nós estamos?
We're in Martinez, baby.
Bebê?
A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd.
Ah, ela é disco.
It's a disco holdover, pay it no heed.
Eu mesmo sou antiguidade disco.
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all? E o que é Martinez?
Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year.
Conte-me mais sobre Martinez.
I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. There are ruins,
É muito boa essa.
terminal,
Ela é muito
fishing
boa.
boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets.
Você mencionou o mar, que mar é esse?
It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay feeds into the ocean.
Estamos próximos do oceano?
Yes. We're on an island in an ocean. The world's largest body of water.
Insulíntico.
Insulindic.
Vast, lukewarm, and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight.
Qual o nome dessa ilha?
Caillou, as you already know. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed-over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the river Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributary.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her and to humanity at large.
Tudo bem. Isso é Martinez. O que é Revachol?
Revachol? Revachol is what you call a city.
Que tipo de cidade é Revachol?
Great kind.
As if it's self-explanatory, beyond patriotism, a fact.
O que torna Revachol grande?
History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our centuries.
Certo. Quem construiu essa
The
cidade?
nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Semenine and Ile Marat, depending on your creed.
Quando Revachol foi
In the
construída?
DeLorean century,
DeLorean, sim.
380 years ago.
E por que ela vai solucionar a
They
história?
say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts. The stuff of men.
The stuff of men. Foda, né? Por que
We are
aqui?
standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million
É
people.
doideira, hein?
In the middle of the Insulindic Ocean.
200 milhões,
The
velho.
world's connective tissue. It's where the money is.
Então, estamos numa parte desimportante de um lugar importante.
I think it's fair to say so. Martinez is about
Ela aponta para além da água onde os arranha-céus se erguem.
A sparkle of lights on the horizon, like evening stars above the curvature of the planet.
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom. Coalition government, Insulindian Mission Command.
Olha para o mar.
Silence. She lowers her hand. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first
O
time.
mar é um trem lindo mesmo, né?
There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
Onde nós
We
estamos.
are where we are. I have
Je
no
m'avoue.
sure answer to give, unfortunately.
Jamais vous. Desrealização. Vamos ver. Esse aqui é lido depois, né? Então a gente só vai colocar mesmo. Destravar. E vamos internalizar. Jamais vous. Jamais vous.
This is one thought you need to complete. Where are you?
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown.
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask, about even more fundamental aspects of reality. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Madame Messier will be here later too, and tomorrow. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
Está certo, Tenente. Eu vou continuar mais tarde.
It's better not to eat all your candy at once.
É verdade.
Indeed. I'm always at your service.
Tá bom. Amanhã a gente
Glad
volta.
to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else? Of course, detective. Take care.
Amanhã a gente continua.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, detective.
Como você esperava que isso
Honestly,
fosse?
I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer to be her henchman.
Ah, então somos capangas
This
agora.
woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation.
Eu sinto muito por colocar-nos nessa situação, eu vou resolver isso. O que você propõe? Que nós não investiguemos o tráfico de drogas?
If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation.
Ah,
with her.
sim.
We tell her it's done, and demand for her information on the lynching.
Beleza. Tá bom, mas vamos vazar, né? Você tá tenso aí, né? Ah, uma coisa, a gente tem que conversar sobre...
Yes?
Conte-me sobre o caso,
What do you want
novamente.
to know?
Literalmente qualquer coisa sobre isso. Eu não consigo lembrar de nada.
Ah, yes. The case brief you missed. Now I remember.
Resumo sim, isso parece uma coisa
3
dele.
days ago, the RCM Emergencies Desk received a report about a security guard who was found hanged in Martinez. An anonymous caller said there was a dead body behind the Whirling and Rags hostel cafeteria. The cadaver had been there for 4 days. No one had come
Cara, já
to
tinha ficado
investigate.
4 dias, né?
During that time, the victim had been stripped of his belongings. The caller did not identify him, but used the word lynching. There is an ongoing labor dispute between the local dock workers and the logistics company Wild Pines. I was told we should approach the death as part of this dispute.
Espera, a informação dizia quem era a
A
vítima.
security guard or worker of some sort, hired by Wild Pines. This was just hearsay from Martinez, of course. We need to find out the truth.
Porque não sabemos nada sobre o
They
delator.
didn't identify themselves in any way. The tone was muffled using a device of some sort. The desk could identify neither the caller's
Nem idade
age
nem o
nor
sexo.
sex.
Por que se
There's
esconder?
a strong prejudice against involving the RCM in what's seen as union matters. The dock workers' union is the de facto police in Martinez. Now it appears they've started executing too. We cannot allow that.
Tá claro que sim, agora entendi.
Just to be clear, we are police officers. It's our job to find the killer. That's the case. Uncover and arrest the killer.
Você diria que esse é um caso misterioso?
No, it's not a particularly mysterious case.
Por que não?
The deceased is a security guard for a corporation involved in a labor dispute. It doesn't take a DeLorean polymath to put the pieces together. I just don't see the case getting more mysterious than that.
E eu achei que tivesse algo de outro mundo envolvido, sabe? Algo supernatural. Homem branco, cerca de 40 anos, do que mais você precisa. Somente eu acho disputas trabalhistas muito misteriosas. Certo, então o caso provavelmente não é misterioso. Será que ele pode ser sexy?
I can assure nothing like that will happen. Do you know why not?
Tem certeza? Acho que já está acontecendo.
No, something isn't happening. Because it's not part of reality.
The gesture resembles an orchestra conductor bringing the choir to a full stop.
Compositora.
So desperately mundane. You need to funk this case up.
You need to funk this case up.
There's something the lieutenant isn't seeing. The universe is too irrational, too morally complex. You should convince him.
Tá bom. Se nós somos de distritos diferentes, por que nós estamos no
I'm
mesmo
afraid
caso?
you and I are pawns in a pissing competition.
His disdain is clear. This man would not use such an expression otherwise.
O que você quer dizer?
You don't know? I assumed you were in on it.
Eu não me lembro disso em nada. Fale-me sobre isso.
What's there to say? It's just stupidity.
Que tipo de estupidez?
The cop kind. Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the
Ah.
Industrial Harbor. Yours or mine, as if we somehow own parts of the city. Typical street gang mentality. So we've let the Union make a mockery of law enforcement here. And now it's come to its natural conclusion.
Ah, então essa é uma luta pelo poder em
Well,
Martinez.
sort of. It's less a matter of who gets to police Martinez than who has to. It's an orphan district, in other
Sim.
words. I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell you that. Time to settle it, they said. Cop off.
Cop
But
off.
I assure you, I am not their finest or toughest, with 102 cases solved. What I am is least interested in a pissing competition.
So he volunteered to represent the 57th, but not out of competitiveness. On the contrary.
Então você foi voluntário pra acabar com isso?
Yes, I am an unrepentant spoilsport.
Impenitente é uma palavra maravilhosa, velho. O que há de especial em Martinez?
Martinez? Nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this place. They care about sports. Most of our colleagues don't even know how to get here. North of the interchange doesn't exist.
O que será que isso diz sobre mim, que eu fui enviado pela minha delegacia? Só pode haver uma conclusão. Eu sou melhor ou não. Eu devo ser um alguno, presságio apocalíptico enviado pelo meu povo. Tenho medo, eu acho que tenho habilidades sobrenaturais. Eu provavelmente tenho uma contagem de mortes inacreditável. Eu vou deixar o motivo de ter sido enviado como não especificado. Eu vou ser um augúrio, um presságio apocalíptico enviado pelo meu povo.
No.
Sabe, na verdade não, eu não sou um augúrio. Haverá derramamento de sangue em proporções inimagináveis. Inimagináveis.
No, it's very imaginable. We failed to place responsibility for the hanging. The harbor company see the situation is out of control, so they bring in private military, maybe a gunship. The Union responds in strength. Automatic fire. Local law enforcement solving one little homicide decides nothing. Not solving it can have real and calculable effects. Things can always get worse. Matter of fact, augury, we should move.
Sim, certo, chega de competição então, continua.
Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter.
A
Forget I
treta.
ever mentioned it.
He's actually glad it's addressed now.
Ele está realmente feliz por isso ter sido. Você parece estar me seguindo.
Excuse me?
Nada, só uma
You have
observação.
a distinctive way of walking. If I were to walk in front of you, we would surely collide.
O que você quer dizer com
I hope
distinto?
you don't take this the wrong way. It's just a collegial observation. In the 57th, we call it the Jamrock Shuffle.
The Jamrock
Officers
Shuffle.
from Jamrock's 41st precinct tend to move a bit erratically.
Que loucura, como
They
assim?
say it's a scene-clearing technique developed by one of your lieutenants for gathering evidence.
Que loucura.
It's erratic, yet thorough. Prioritizes containers.
Yes, but containers
Contain.
things. Shiny things. They're interesting.
Isso é racista, no final disso. Tá brincando? Por que
I
containers?
don't know. Containers contain, I guess.
Olha
I'm
ele.
making assumptions. We should move on.
Passing along frivolous interdepartmental stereotypes is not usually his oeuvre. He regrets bringing it up.
Convença o Quinte que há uma reviravolta misteriosa, sombria e sexual no caso. 28%.
Only banal things strike you. At the core, you're a very banal person with a very small soul. One you should be ashamed of. It's no wonder the soft one doesn't want it back. It was right to abandon you.
Vamos lá, 17%.
Because you're
Véi, a gente
the
não tá
best
passando em
qualified.
nada.
No, that doesn't seem right.
Cérebro de Jordan não sou bom pra nada.
You look dumb if you keep the lieutenant waiting for too long.
Ai, ai.
Tremble. The time is now. Taola.
Que momento.
Time for the show. For Taola.
Aí, tá vendo?
The hallowed time of fear and disintegration. A countdown has begun. All will collapse on itself.
O apocalipse, tiro do apocalipse, tá vendo? Junto com o tiro da supercelebridade.
Reign of blackness. All sound will be muted.
Foda.
All life will scream.
Taota, o que é isso?
Ulogu Theodos.
Que loucura.
Zausin. Ipoli Ossidian. Ehondes Fronisin.
Calma, espere. Quando foi que essa contagem agressiva começou?
Monday morning. The moment you arrived in this reality.
Esconde personalidades, pô. É.
The sheer face of God. From you it will spread.
Isso é por causa do que eu vim dizendo sobre o fim desse mundo insano, não é?
Yes, you spoke the words of the palindropos and the houses of Pericarnassus.
Palindropos.
Items, people, even words will tumble. All will lose its meaning in the coming years. That is why you marked yourself.
Eu acho que o mundo pode acabar em breve.
The face of the woman fractures. There will be herd killing. We all become vapor.
Bora. Vou liberar mais um. Eu não tenho. Não tem como destravar. Como é que eu tenho ponto de habilidade? Ah, eu não tenho ponto de habilidade.
Yeah, you better keep walking.
Vamos lá, né? Quem que você quer? Eu não sei se acontece se você continuar roletando até altas horas da noite, não. Podia tentar, né, inclusive. Tem que resolver o caso do dinheiro, né? Aroma, álcool, tomate para no ar.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent...
Então, se a gente colocar isso aqui na nossa mão, consegue abrir essa
You
porta?
see a heavy... The door does not budge. The old cobalt paint.
Eu nunca abri essa porta. Ver se a gente consegue abrir. Então, Gart, seguinte.
Can I help you?
Tem relação ao dinheiro que estou devendo.
Yes. Have you got it?
Posso pagar com esse cheque?
You must be joking, right? You come here, trash everything, and now you try to pay with a novelty check? This isn't a game show. I'm not going to accept it. You owe me cold, hard money. I want to see that money in the palm of my hand. Every single cent.
You can cash it in at the local frit near the harbor gates, though it might not be enough to cover it.
Quanto eu devo mesmo?
A lot. For the room, drinks, and broken window, 130 real.
Eu estava pensando se poderíamos chegar a algum tipo de acordo para essa noite.
Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
Está frio lá fora, vou morrer congelado porque estou perdendo esse estúpido jogo de dinheiro.
Game? Everything is just a game to you, isn't it?
Essa conversa não vai a lugar nenhum,
Not
não é?
until you bring me the money.
Okay. I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
I really didn't want to resort to this. The man is thinking.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Vamos lá então, né?
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio...
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Transport enclosure? Regular people just call it the cage.
Eu preciso pegar o rádio.
Precinct 57, how may I assist you?
Me disseram que eu preciso me contactar com a minha delegacia com a Lázaro do 41.
It will take just a moment, officer.
Her voices fade out into the familiar
Preciso falar sobre o nosso problema mental, né?
Gottlieb, what do you want?
He's carelessly chewing on a piece of hard candy.
Estou muito mal, doutor. Muito mal de verdade.
Oh, it's you.
It's you.
Was that a snarl or a suppressed groan? No love for you here.
Você sabe quem eu sou?
Yes, there's no end to the misfortunes fate has seen fit to rain upon me.
Nossa, boa ventura, você quer dizer boa ventura, certo? Você está se aquecendo sob a força da minha glória. Sim, vivemos tempos difíceis, mas pelo menos acabou. Quase acabou, na verdade.
For you, it probably is. I'm counting on my lungs outliving your liver by a wide margin.
Nossa.
Not that that's anything to fate.
Was he speaking about his longer life or your shorter one when he said it was no cause for celebration? A bit of both. But don't flatter yourself. He's not sorry for you.
Eu perdi minha memória, toda ela.
With all the damage you've been dealing yourself with drugs and alcohol, I'm not surprised.
Você não está surpreso? Tudo bem, mas alguma
What
coisa?
else? I'm not a brain doctor. Look on the bright side. You've got a whole new life now. Use it wisely.
É uma boa dica.
It's hard to say if he doesn't believe you or doesn't care.
Eu acho que tive um ataque
And you
cardíaco.
survived it. Congratulations.
Feio, que médico,
Are
filho
you
da
mobile?
puta, velho.
Even better. Anything else? I wouldn't worry about that. Officers your age have coronary trouble all the time. Also, death is a natural part of life.
Death is a natural part of life. Não há nada que você possa fazer por mim?
What? You want me to do blood work for you again? Tell you just how bad things really are across the board? You want another rundown of everything collapsing inside your body?
Deixa eu aumentar essa minha moral aqui. Pode ser que eu vou tomar uma, né? Sim, quero a
You
verdade.
want the real, honest to God truth? Stop drinking, eat magnesium and vitamin D. Our station is not a retirement home. We don't have the funds to deal with rock stars past their prime.
So it's political. You're being neglected because of political
No.
reasons.
And no, I don't want to hear a political commentary on the topic. In fact, I got work to do. Some idiot has glued his eyelids shut with cyanoacrylate.
Cara, colou os próprios
Looks
olhos.
like Mactorson.
It's not fucking cryo-actylate. It's super glue, Doc.
What? You want me to do blood work for you again? Tell you just how bad things. You want the real, honest.
So it's political.
And no,
It's not fucking cryo-actylate. It's super glue, Doc.
Acho que é por enquanto só.
What? You want me to do blood work for you again? Do that. I need to go. Some idiot.
It's not fucking.
É 5, né? O cara nem me manda tchau, velho.
Anything else I can help you with, officer?
Ai. Até agora eu preciso
Just a
relatar.
second, officer.
10-2, 10-5. This is 41st, come in, over.
A scrawny old man sits in a dusty cubicle, smoking, with a large white
Então.
rectangle sewn on his vest. In front of him is a box-shaped apparatus with an array of wires and antennas. The radio switchboard.
Ai. Eu não sei se eu preciso falar isso aí não, né? É bom que tem isso aqui, né? Oi, sou eu aqui. Eu trabalho na delegacia.
10-4, what's your status? Over.
Não é coisa boa.
10-18, 10-20, over.
Por favor, apenas fale humano comigo, porque esses números não significam nada pra mim.
State your message, sir. Over.
Preciso de... Estou em extrema necessidade de ajuda financeira.
10-4, I hear you. I don't have the authority to grant your request, but...
Is it him? What does he want?
Jean Vicmar.
He says he needs money.
Don't give that asshole anything. He's just gonna drink it all.
Alright, that's a negative on the additional funds, sir. Over.
É primordial a investigação que você me conceda mais dinheiro.
He says it's important to the case.
He isn't getting a red cent. You can tell him that.
Request denied, sir. Over.
Por favor, estou te implorando, eu nem tenho lugar pra dormir essa
He
noite.
says he's in trouble. Doesn't have a place to sleep.
Well, I guess he'd better crack the case before sundown then.
Caralho, velho.
Vicmar said...
Who cares what this Vicmar said? Pull on their heartstrings.
Não quero mais ficar aqui, eu quero ir pra casa, por favor, me buscar. Você tá me ouvindo sem fundos.
Anything else, sir? Over.
Esse pode só ser mais detalhes pessoais que eu gostaria de discutir.
10-4, your badge should have most of your personal details. Look over that.
É claro, meu detetive, posso olhar meu detetive que tá comigo.
10-4, anything else for you, sir? Over.
É, não vou falar nada não.
18 kilometers to the south, in the 41st precinct's
Esse é muito foda, esses momentos de iluminação.
around communication officer Jules Oldboy Pidier, around a dozen cops. The small room is filled with cigarette smoke, a buzz with laughter, when Officer Judith Minot enters. Her left arm is in bandages, and her hair trimmed short.
What is going on here? Did something happen?
What happened is my partner made contact. It's not good. He seemed confused, delirious even.
Mac, the torso Torson, is finger-fucking his fist, laughing hoarsely and apparently telling some dirty story to his partner.
E tipo assim, todos os policiais, todos os caras sujos, nossa, escroto, né,
Yeah,
velho?
Mullen was fucked, all right. Sounded fucking drunk to me.
Yeah, Mac's right. This was some gnarly shit there. I mean, before he started begging for money, it was...
Enough! None of this is funny. It's fucking sad. That's what it is. He's a cop. He's one of us, goddamn this.
We must help him.
Yeah? How do you fucking plan to do that, huh? Get him off the drink? Go jogging with him in the morning and get him on carrot juice?
Tipo, você teve esse momento de iluminação e tá essa cena toda acontecendo, né?
I just know we can't give up on him when he's at his weakest. You wouldn't.
A multidão na sala começou a se mexer desconfortavelmente. Alguém está tentando sair de fininho.
Mac, man the door. You know what he told me? I don't want to get better. I want to get worse. Those were his words.
Nossa.
This shit does not leave this room. Not a word of this to the captain. Or anyone else. We'll give him a couple of days to pull his shit together.
I guess I can hold off the report for a few days.
Good. Okay, everybody. Nothing but a prank call here. We all got our laughs. Now get back to work.
Far north, on the other side of the motorway, the officer quietly hunches with his hand in the motor carriage.
Olha no comportamento de
The
todos os
cage
suspeitos.
at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat. Their silver edges sparkle in the dark.
I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal.
Você disse algo sobre ela. Obrigado, agradeço a ajuda. O que você quer dizer com
A
confiscou
couple
elas?
of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic.
Você tava guardando essas coisas pra você,
Turns
né,
out he
Kim?
was some coalition official's son and high.
Então você pegou as calotas dele?
I took them and arrested him for driving under the influence.
Isso não é corrupção?
I don't know. Is it? I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back.
Você quer colocar essas calotas na sua máquina?
No, that would be silly. I just... I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway. A cop with spinners. That would be outrageous.
Sim, extremamente legal.
He flashes a smile,
Eita.
barely visible in the dark.
Sinto muito por ter que vendê-los por minha causa.
As I said, they are useless anyway. I should have remembered I have these earlier.
But thank you.
Obrigado, agradeço a ajuda.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
Tem como você não pegar, né, bicho?
Hey, so we've been monitoring you internally, and now we know your Copo type.
Why? Wait. There's couple types?
Guess what's yours?
Estava meio esperando ser o tio do
That
apocalipse.
is only a ludicrous daydream. Guess again. You're the...
Tiro legal.
No, you're the sorry cop. The
No.
cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we? Huge lack of enthusiasm going on in here.
Não. Porra. Quer saber? Eu não sinto muito, na verdade. Eu mudei de ideia.
No, you don't. Come on. You'll be back to saying sorry in 2 minutes. Stop wasting time.
Não, eu realmente não sinto muito. Vai se fuder.
Wow. Okay. Fuck off.
Ok, fuck off.
Maybe we were wrong about you then.
Uau, ok, fuck off. Ai, velho. Vamos ver desse trem. Tá noite mesmo aqui, hein? Quarta-feira, 7h15 da manhã. Vou resolver as coisas antes de quarta-feira. O que tá rolando aqui nessa loja de penhores? Lote de máquina, uma caixa registradora antiga. Puxa, mulher. Placa diz, simplesmente dei. No escuro, um projetor de filme dos Estados Unidos.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern and unyielding in their duty. Try to find something pretty and cool here. Then use it to win her back.
Win her back?
Yes. Buy something nice. A figurine.
Expressão dos cavalos
Big
montados.
men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks, the kind that would mow down a line of enemy soldiers in the blink of an eye.
Quem são eles?
Franco-Nigerian knights. I used to be very serious about these guys.
Olha.
A long, long time ago.
Inspeção nos uniformes
They're not
azuis.
all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed, wielding swords and rifles with bayonets.
Esses são os soldados monarquistas?
Which ones? Ah, those. Yes, they are. I find the paint job a bit gaudy, but children like the bright colours indiscriminately.
Inspeção dos bonecos de
This
trapos.
set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them carry pistols. Some even shovels and tall sticks.
Esses são mesmo soldados?
You're probably talking about the revolutionaries, yes? Yes, they are soldiers, revolutionary soldiers. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win.
Esse vídeo de 10 pequenas pessoas, até nós podemos conseguir. Contra a chefe feito para dizer que é possível vencer contra a corte capital. Eu gostaria que fosse mais sutil. Da forma que está, não posso comentar. É.
Maybe.
Não, ganha mais um ponto de habilidade. A gente pode fazer destravar? Pode, por favor. Tira do apocalipse. Bora. Internalizar. Tem que resolver essa porra tudo. Desenterre uma estatueta realmente bacana na caixa sobre a mesa. 58%, bora. Não, né?
Everything you pick out seems faded, chipped.
Tá foda, né, bicho?
Most
Os
things
testes
just
tão
broken.
foda hoje, não é o dia. Deixa eu testar depois. Ei, essas
The
caixas.
boomboxes on the shelf look well loved and well traveled. Chipped, dented, they stare at you with the unblinking eyes of their tape reels.
Fica na pose dos personagens,
One
mas...
especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. A classic boombox that says Stereo 8 approved. This is you. Gold and orange. A sunset suite.
É verdade.
Just make sure it works before you buy it.
Vendedor, essa máquina estéreo aqui.
Is the Harman Welsh W2. Made in Vespa. Designed in Seoul. Plays all reel-to-reel formats. 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got a little radio in there. It'll set you back 12 real.
O que eu realmente quero saber é, esse instrumento pode ser útil no meu trabalho policial?
If police work means playing tapes, sure. You can use it for that. Or any other time you'd need to play a tape.
Você tem certeza que ele está funcionando?
Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with recordings of speech. Found sounds and music from a variety of genres. Even though I don't really like music.
Eu vou ter que comprar, não tem como.
And here you are. Quality sound reproduction on the go. It'll play anything, wherever. Turn any tape into a conversation of sounds and shapes.
Incrível.
All the old.
Isso aqui.
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted
Uma
floor
lâmpada.
and table lamps.
Deixe seu olhar correr sobre a lâmpada
The
de luz.
light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard.
Tem como se comprar um poste de luz.
The light buzzes faintly, but persistently. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
Isso é uma lâmpada de rua?
Yes, officer. As you see, it's in perfect working order.
His manner is casual, but his speech is careful, measured. He wants you to know that he has nothing to hide.
Onde você conseguiu isso?
It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of state property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
Aham. Você gosta, né, Kim? Quanto pela lâmpada de rua?
700 real.
700?
A bargain, I dare say.
Você tá maluco? Há uma igual a cada esquina. Mesmo levando em conta o risco de obter a lâmpada, isso parece um pouco exorbitante.
There's also the matter of rewiring. But the most important
600,
transformation is the
700.
light's placement among ordinary indoor fixtures, which has adjusted its morphological field. The light became suitable for use inside the home just a few days ago.
Não há nada mais que precisa saber sobre essa lâmpada. É, meio cara demais, né? Eu nem sei se é possível. Talvez roubando, né? Vou imitar alguns modelos mais excêntricos no meio.
Wow, a very large red t-shirt with an impressive print stands out from the other garb.
Ah, é?
Oh yeah, the print depicts a muscled man striding toward you, a giant sword in each hand, encircled by burning embers. Behind him is a cluster of cabins engulfed in flames. Beneath him are the words, Heimdall burning.
Cheira a camiseta.
Smells like worn cotton and a little old sweat there. Worn cotton with a side of flea market or trash bin.
Sniffing is okay. But please don't try anything on. Can't have you leaving your photon emissions in the
Photon emissions?
you're not going to buy.
Caralho, cara.
You're not imagining it. Photon emissions?
What the fuck?
What is he talking about?
Qual é o lance com esse cara nessa camiseta?
The man from Heimdall.
The man from
Walking
Heimdall.
away from his burning village. Yes.
Their matter-of-fact tone belies their surprise at the fact that you didn't recognize the figure in the print.
Creio que eu deveria saber quem é esse homem de Heimdall, mas perdi minha memória recentemente e preciso de ajuda para lembrar fatos básicos sobre a realidade. Eu disse que perdi minha memória recentemente e preciso de ajuda para lembrar fatos básicos sobre a realidade.
Oh, I see. That's tough, man. I feel the same way sometimes.
Oh.
The man from Heimdall is the hero of a series of popular books based on a fictional version of Kotla. In fact, most people don't think that man from Heimdall ever really existed.
Opa.
But they are wrong.
Opa, você acredita que foi real?
Heimdall isn't a real place.
Neither is the man a real man, of course. But both the man and Heimdall are an ontological necessity.
Oof.
But hey, it's not worth getting into an argument about.
O que você quer dizer com o homem de Heimdall era real?
I mean, even if the man from Heimdall didn't exist before the adventure novels, the stories have made it so that he has. It's simple, really.
Okay.
Ok.
You sound skeptical. It's not that
Véi,
complicated.
a gente tá entrando numa...
All that's required is a more robust understanding of cause and effect.
Sim.
Besides, I've been to Kotla, though not quite as far north as the Heimdall, and watched northern lights travel across the sky. Very unique, energetic tides there.
His theory isn't exactly incoherent, but its logic does suggest some unusual neural activity. Interesting. Very, very unique energies indeed. Geomagnetic ley lines, one might even say.
Geomagnetic... Ai, por quanto você está vendendo essa camiseta? Opa, peraí. Apertei o botão errado.
What a shirt.
$2 real.
R$2?
That's dirt cheap.
Vocês não poderiam me dar ela de graça, então?
But why?
Porque eu sou um policial falido. O homem de Heimdall é uma celebridade, eu sou celebridade. Por acaso eu poderia retribuir você de alguma maneira?
I deal in goods, not services.
Eu vou pegar essa camiseta, sim.
Welcome to Heimdall, officer. It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my pawn shop.
O homem da bancada se vira lentamente
What
pra
can I
você.
do for you?
His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector, just watching the movement of light across the walls of the shop.
Desculpe, sinto que estou te interrompendo.
Oh no, not at all. I guess I haven't had many customers lately. RCM or otherwise.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers, people looking for a deal, people looking for a keepsake. People who are terminally bored. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from.
Típicos objetos consumistas vazios.
It keeps me entertained.
Ele responde pouco impressão que
He's well composed, but underneath it you sense psychedelic processes.
Parece que ele tá chapado,
Some
né?
kind of drug, maybe.
Um box que comprei deve tocar essa fita, certo?
Of course. It's in working order still, isn't it? Just pick your tape and set it spinning. It all starts with the tape.
Algo que eu gostaria de vender.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the dancing light of his pawn shop.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jump-a-mesque banger? No matter. I'll give you 200 real.
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
Of course. I meant no offense.
Véi, que conversa, que troca curiosa,
for
velho.
you, officer. Delightful doing business with you. Do come again.
Thank you. Here's the 130 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The windfall is a small consolation.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
Preciso de vender minhas roupas. Tem uma foto fascinante de um cadáver aqui. Mostra a foto aí.
Oh, no. I don't like those kinds of objects. No sale.
Sabe o que essas tatuagens significam?
Photic paths, counter-radiance networks, anti-magnetism. It's darkness. That's all I know.
Vou conferir meus bolsos.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
Não, por enquanto eu vou... Zero. Por enquanto eu vou me manter. Esse aqui eu posso vender na real, né? Não sei se eu vou precisar, acho que não, né? Talvez eu ia precisar. A tábua laminada oferece uma visão do outro lado do rio, um pouco mais do que uma década depois da guerra. As encostas estão exuberantes. Beleza. Um bom dinheiro é foda, né? Não vou jogar o carro. Já tá doido? Esse aqui também não. É isso, fechar. Gostaria de vender minhas roupas.
I'm not purchasing any more clothing at the moment, and especially that tie. It swallows photons. Around it. I have no need for necrotic objects.
Your mother is a necrotic object. I'm fun. Look
Véi.
at me sparkling in the light of the projector.
Another time, perhaps.
Deixa eu só ver um trem. Se eu botar a blusa, talvez ele vai me respeitar um pouquinho mais.
Greetings on this fine night. What brings you here?
Você sabe que não é realmente uma noite agradável. O tempo está terrível.
Is it? Spring is capricious, yes.
Como é que você ainda está
The
aberto?
pawn shop is always open.
Aí, ó. Tô usando a blusa, tá vendo? Compostura notou... 92% é possível, velho.
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard. He's probably on Pyrrolidon. It's tough to come by on the street.
Pyrrolidon, que é isso?
A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness.
Oof.
It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
Sou só eu ou está realmente quente aqui dentro, ao redor?
I try to keep the shop at a comfortable temperature.
There's a note of indignation in his voice. Interesting. Those triangle patches on his vest, you have a feeling they mean something, like they're similar to the halogen rectangle on your jacket.
Me diga, qual é a desses triângulos em seu colete?
I was with the emergency relief brigade. You know, after the People's Pile disaster.
Ele tosse como se quisesse marcar suas palavras.
Had to take Perolidon for radiation sickness. That's what you were hinting at just now, wasn't it?
Tenso, velho. Deve ter sido limpeza da joia. Pilha popular, o que é isso?
A bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity
Que loucura,
to
velho.
communities. It malfunctioned. Radioactive waste everywhere.
Chernobyl.
Probably some of it in
Mas
you
assim,
too.
conte mais sobre essa brigada de emergência da qual você
We
fazia
were
parte.
an all-volunteer
O cara foi lá pra ajudar, né?
Self-organized. Tried to help the fire brigades contain the spill.
On the patch, gamma radiation lines crossed with a red drop of blood.
I lived by the river since I was a small boy.
É foda porque o jogo, né, pelo estilo do jogo, ele te indica pra um lado meio zoeira, né? O cara tá doidão. Só que o cara tá doidão porque ele tem que usar um remédio por causa de um acidente quando ele tava tentando ajudar os outros, né, velho?
There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud. Years getting sick.
Ele olha pra luz, inspirar e para. Deve ter sido duro limpeza de
There's a
joia.
reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened. And why no one has tried to repair or replace the pile. So much disappointment.
Triste, velho.
And early deaths. Cancer mostly. And we knew all that was coming even as we were cleaning up as best we could.
De quem foi a culpa do gerador de falhado?
No one's. Everyone's.
So much bitterness.
A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor, hoping for the best. What do you think is going to happen?
Como você acabou administrando uma loja de
The
pneus?
cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then. Later, my second aunt died. Left me this shack and all the assorted junk in it. So I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there. It's a shithole. I said, people, we just had a nuclear pile meltdown. I'm gonna get as far away from Forburg as I can. Still in the same city, but I like the theory more than the story. Outward movement, not vortices.
Movimento centrífugo, não vórtices.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
Gostaria de compartilhar sua pirolidina comigo?
Have you tried it before?
It's almost like he's worried for you. The lieutenant steps away, pretending to admire some of
Parece que não
the
quer se
on
envolver.
display. Looks like he doesn't want to get involved. Go ahead then, he thinks. As long as you can walk straight, I don't care.
Eu acho que experimentei uma vez, gostei.
Here you go, man.
Na frente do Kim tem as caras, obrigado.
Of course.
Você pode ser capaz de ajudar a nossa
I
investigação.
doubt it, but I can try and answer any questions you may have.
Sabe alguma coisa sobre o recente
I do
enforcamento?
my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business, bad for everyone.
Deve ser muito tempo.
Broker's gaze is already fixed.
Propósito, você possivelmente teria alguma arma, como as usadas por
Someone
policiais?
else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
Opa!
The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another, alert.
Espere, eu vendi minha arma pra você?
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol Citizens Militia. And I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the charts photon emissions. The unhealthy kind.
He's not telling you the whole story. It seems he's trying to spare you.
Sinto que é algo que você não está me contando.
You weren't quiet yourself, officer. You
Como
were
estava?
very distraught. You said the gun was a threat to your life and that you can't trust yourself with it tonight. And that you need the money.
Vê onde que foi parar esse dinheiro, né?
When I said that I don't normally buy firearms, you put the gun barrel in your mouth and sort of sucked on it.
Puta que pariu, velho.
Then I agreed to take it.
Véi, que situação, velho.
Very normal behavior.
Very normal
You must
behavior.
have been in great shape.
Realmente deveria ter me matado, não. Eu sinto muito por não ter me visto naquele estado. Espera, por quanto eu vendi a arma? 15 real,
The
velho.
lieutenant looks from you to Roy, and then back to you. It's clear that he hopes this tableau might still turn out to be a bad dream. It's not, though. This has got to be the most. Wow.
Nossa, nem tem palavras pra descrever, né?
There's pity there too, in case you didn't notice.
Não diga nada.
The light swells in his face and glasses.
O computador também era policial?
She didn't
Computador.
seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig.
A pig.
Which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive.
Menos que de alta
But I was just happy to get rid of it. And of her. Truth be told, she was terrifying.
Uma porca.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the citizens' militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it?
Exatamente.
Miraculously, his face does not reveal what's happening inside.
Talvez ela seja uma vigilante. Quer provar que posso fazer nosso trabalho. Não gosto disso também. Se ela pretende cometer um crime e jogar a culpa. Só existe uma explicação. Ela deve ser uma das minhas fãs
In that
raivosas.
case, she'll be happy to get a visit from us, if we can find her.
Alguma ideia de onde posso encontrar esse comprador?
My apologies, officer, but I have no idea where she was coming from or where she went.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it right now. You'll just have to hope Everard wasn't lying, and the Union can track her down in time.
Alguém do sindicato de Everard acho que leve aqui rastrear essa arma.
Maybe. Shady-looking guys came in here yesterday, looking like they'd just taken off their Wild Pines overalls. They asked if I have a police weapon to sell. I told them I already sold it. They went their way. It was a trip, but you know, all sorts of people come here, asking for all sorts of things.
Sim.
Wait, then it might be true. Everard's claims.
Sim.
Maybe Claire really is tracking down your gun.
Pelo menos agora eu sei como pedir minha arma. Vamos falar sobre outra coisa.
Of course.
É isso. Tá bom, vou voltar. É meia-noite, meu filho. Só tem os loucos.
Can I help you?
É, em relação ao dinheiro.
Yes. Have
Eu
you
tenho
got
dinheiro.
them well?
Joga as mãos no balcão. Espero que você se engase com isso. Aqui está, se não me preocupe. Aqui está, 130.
Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow.
Beleza.
He's not sorry about his behavior for your sake. Now that you have money, he really wants to make sure you're not angry with him.
I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock automatically at 9 p.m. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers. Another thing. Great. Yes.
Não vi nada, não. E aí agora é as últimas considerações da noite, né?
Yes?
Pick over what's left of your frontal cortex, but
Tá
no.
foda, velho. Nenhum teste. Nenhum teste, velho. Não tá fácil.
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Boa noite,
Just a
Tenente.
moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides, we should discuss our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
Vamos lá. Achei que a conversa ia ser lá. Eu já tinha ido lá direto, né?
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then...
Where shall we begin? We should talk about the
Acendendo cigarrinho.
investigation first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM.
Eu não sabia que você fumava,
I
Kim.
have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly
Cool.
with that cigarette.
Eu acho que talvez queira voltar a fumar. Você tem mais um cigarro?
I apologize, but I only brought one with me. I have exactly one cigarette every night while going.
Como você se tornou tão maneiro, Kim?
This isn't good. It's an unnecessary trial of will and unhealthy.
Yet, were he to quit, he would lose the cool factor. This man relishes his cool quite a bit, below it all.
Muito bem, Sumari.
It's been a long and eventful day.
Como você acha que nós saímos hoje?
We inspected the victim's body, so that's good. It was not easily approachable in that state, but we did it. I would say our initial inspection was very thorough, and we have solid leads to follow up.
Sim.
Then you shot the body down, which was quite a shot.
Uma experiência com confiança em mim, Kim.
I admit I wasn't sure whether I should give you one, but I'm glad I did. Your shot enabled us to perform a field autopsy on the victim. We found some things we can really work with. I still feel like we're missing something, but we performed a thorough search on the premises of the crime scene. That's great.
He's right. You could smell it. That something is missing. Even under the overpowering odor of the corpse.
Sim.
Now, as for interviews, my list of people to talk to here in Martinez, I mean.
Esse é meu forte. Contato de muitos tiros, eu entendo a importância de comunicação na nossa área de trabalho. Eu adoro fazer entrevistas, as pessoas me adoram. Elas adoram se banhar na minha glória.
Very important indeed. Well, we conducted an interview.
A gente conversou com muita gente, fez muita coisa no primeiro dia, velho.
He wasn't particularly forthcoming with useful information, however.
Tenho certeza que eu posso fazer ele contar mais.
Claire also helped you, how should I say, remember your name?
Grande Alívio é um nome muito apropriado também.
Moving on. We talked to Joyce Messier, but didn't get any information from her. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is.
Sim.
We have to get her to talk to us. Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41?
Sim, é parte da Jim Rock Shuffle.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those hills. Nice shoes, by the way.
Obrigado.
The green goes with the orange.
É, combina bem a paleta dos dois, né? Então quais são os nossos poderes exatamente, a
They're quite
RCM?
limited, actually. The power officers of the Rebachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
1000, por que não é?
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Rebachol.
Esse não seria um poder fácil de abusar?
Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM.
Tudo bem, o que mais?
We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station call slip.
Caralho, que situação, né? Sério, como você pode ter certeza que o convocado vai aparecer?
You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught.
Sim.
It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
Entendi. Se alguém
We
resistir...
are permitted to use whatever force we deem necessary, even lethal.
Então se você matar alguém exercendo sua
You
função...
have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best.
Já matou alguém que...
Yes. The last time was 4 years ago.
He says it matter-of-factly and moves on. He has internalized it well. It's just that. A fact. A self-contained past event.
Eu já matei alguém?
That's an improbability. Perhaps even impossibility.
Não sei se eu realmente... Não, eu acho que não matei. Eu não sei se eu realmente quero saber.
Precinct 41 is known for a higher than average rate of police violence.
Nossa, velho, esse Distrito 41 é tenso, velho. O que acontece com as pessoas que condenamos?
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Courant and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them.
E quem faz todas essas regras? O governo coalizão?
Yes, the international community's mission in Revachol, and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone.
Que mundo, né? Muito detalhado, bicho.
Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less.
O olhar dele está fixado distraidamente no general abaixo. Que acabou de ficar...
Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Vamos dizer que foram cidadãos de Revachol.
Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it.
Moral interno, o que é isso?
The Moralists International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed.
Se eu não soubesse, como você descreveria
They're a
isso?
union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world.
No que eles acreditam?
What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe
Dolorians.
they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats.
Tecnocratas. Qual o símbolo deles?
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto
Não me
is
esqueça.
love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something kind and usual. Something ominous.
Oof.
Something like the dark blue, serious color of the early night sky above.
Quem foi Dolores Day?
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
O que você acha deles?
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
It is more than that. There's some kind of affection in him.
Você gosta da moral interna?
Yes, I did, when I was younger. In my 20s, I considered myself a moralist. A blue forget-me-not, a piece of the sky. They're not all that bad.
That's another leitmotif associated with moralism.
But the years have changed that. I don't know what I believe in now. No, I believe in the RCM. That's enough for me.
Eu tenho uma opinião sobre a moral interna.
Do you?
Tenente ergue a sobrancelha, depois dá uma tragada no cigarro. É uma coisinha branca e fina nos seus dedos. As coisas estão ruins pra lá. Nós precisamos deles aqui, nos dando o direito de policiar Revachol. Eles fizeram um trabalho horrível aqui. Você reparou no lugar. Isso não é humanismo. Nós somos marionetes da maior organização burguesa do mundo, protegendo direitos burgueses. Caralho. Nós somos marionetes da maior organização burguesa do mundo, protegendo direitos burgueses.
No. We are stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization, protecting the people of Revachol. That's the hand we were dealt. Without the MI, we would be common vigilantes.
Talvez nós devêssemos fazer a nossa própria lei.
Spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martinez we already are vigilantes.
Sim.
At least the union thinks so. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
Não diga nada, apenas olhe para a cidade.
The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag. This soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different in land, in Jamrock, in the GRIH.
Ele dá um tragado no cigarro. Por que eles são desse
It's
jeito?
our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the union, to the company. Not daring to come here more often. It's like I told you, this place is an orphan, fallen between the cracks.
Sim. E em Jamrock, na GRIH.
We run this city. West of the river is RCM land.
Ele olha para a silhueta sombria do monumento equestre contra o céu
It's
noturno.
incredibly hard. Human beings are But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works. Our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate.
Night. Captain Ptolemy Price steps into the yard. A piebald horse waits by the motor carriage, chewing oats out of an oat bag. Seagulls fly overhead. The sky is black. Captain Price wears a black suit and a standard patrol coat as he mounts the horse to head home. Rows of houses on either side, hunching over the sidewalks, and Precinct 41 with its dome roof growing distant. Around him, the streets are silent. A kid on the corner waves at the captain as he takes the turn on Petition and Main. The horse neighs. The captain nods back. Thanks, kid, he thinks. He's grateful.
Espero que nossa investigação ajude a melhorar a situação aqui, ao menos faça algum bem.
Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
He is very tired, but the dark circles under his eyes make him look younger, not older.
Obrigado por isso.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
Te vejo pela manhã.
The window stands.
Agora é hora de fazer as coisas escondidas do Kim. Por exemplo, pegar aquela bota daquele cara. Primeira coisa que nós vamos fazer. O Kun ainda tá aqui, bicho.
The man is decomposing visibly.
Tente mover as botas.
The body is reluctant to let go of the boots, as though it were its last bit of dignity.
Whoa! Kuno's little sneak pig's back for the booty.
Yeah, fuck it to pieces for us, liar cop.
Puxa a bota direita.
It's not completely useless.
Ah, tem como se pegar. Se pegar na frente das crianças, velho.
It feels like the leg is going to come off along with the boot, but you're able to get the boot to move a centimeter or two. Just relax. This is easy. This is happening. See? The corpse doesn't care if you try to take his boots. He doesn't need them. He's probably glad to get rid of them.
Tente torcer as botas fora,
This is the right method. It takes some time, but eventually the boots come off, with nasty slices of polymer sock stuck to even bigger pieces of skin, and
Look, he's skinning the fucker up good, Puka style.
Hell, keep at it, pig.
the legs look like they've been clawed at by wild animals. As for the boots, you can't possibly do anything with them until you've cleaned and disinfected them thoroughly. Yes, these absolutely need to be washed before. The stink is incredible. Didn't the Whirling have a kitchen?
Sim. Amanhã, né? Que a janela está fechada agora. A gente pode fazer uma outra coisa que é... Quer dizer, a gente precisa dormir só para levantar a nossa moral ali, né? Deixa eu só ver isso aqui.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Use o seu alicate para consertar a torneira. Pare o vapor que está embaçando o espelho. Cura isso agora.
The chain cutters slip out of your hands as you attempt to twist the faucet into place.
Caralho, eu não passei na porra assim.
you've probably never been.
Véi, os testes estão tensos demais. Hoje não é o dia, galera. Vamos esperar que amanhã seja o dia, né? Deixa eu só ver um trem. Conseguir trazer a realidade. Deixa as bolas enforcadas. Lave as bolas na cozinha. Dinheiro pro aluguel do bar. O bote especial. Amanhã 2 coisas pra fazer na cozinha. Tatuagem da vítima. Passagem secreta. Vamos ver os... Boa noite, Edu. Ferramentas. Aí sim. Começar a upar coisa, né, bicho? Como é que faz pra tocar? Ah, não, tá vazio, né? Beleza. Interagir, vamos lá.
These boots were probably left on the corpse because they were impossible to pull off while it was hanging. They're not exactly pleasant to look at right now, much less smell. Hopefully soon you'll know more about them.
Não digitado sobre está. Tá bom, larga as botas. Envelope branco. Envelope branco será fixado do canto superior dado a você. Tá. O processamento intelectual do comunismo martinez oferece uma perspectiva masoviana radical sobre uma ampla gama de problemas contemporâneos. Acaba apresenta um retrato estilizado do velho rei Friesel, com um par de galhadas brancas saindo da cabeça.
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers are one of the symbols of communism.
Doideira,
they
né?
represent a society in accord with the natural world and at the same time above it.
Por que Friesel?
Because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see.
Folhei as páginas, ver se algo chama
To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles in black and white. After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return to the table of contents. The magazine is divided into several sections: international developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note.
Leonardo editor.
Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, du cristal à la fumée. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology
viram fumaça, né?
under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée, unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel. La Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers.
Véi, você não acha louco que dentro do jogo tem a porra de uma revista comunista que você pode ler?
So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Quero ficar a par dos desenvolvimentos internacionais.
This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Semenine. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border, something about bear wrestling in Samara, book riots in Yugograd. Whoa. Bear wrestling. Flip back to that.
Flip back to that. Tudo bem, vamos ver que se trata essa luta de
It
osso.
seems to be part of a new public fitness initiative in the People's Republic of Samara, SRV, devised and promoted by none other than President Kenajinsky. According to this extremely credulous account, Uncle Sport, as he's affectionately known to his people, has recently decreed bear wrestling the national sport of the SRV.
Véi. Calma aí, me fale mais sobre esse tio dos companheiros.
Based on the description in this article, he appears to be an extremely competent and democratically elected president.
Ótimo, agora vamos
It's
aos
quite
jogos.
straightforward. A standard match features one man, or in some cases, woman, against one
Véi.
bear.
Against
Two
one bear.
competitors, one ring, 5 rounds,
Véi,
or until
inacreditável.
incapacitation. According to the SRV's Ministry of Information, the program has been a tremendous success. Public support stands at 87%, and youth obesity and alcoholism rates are down 12%
Véi.
and 7% respectively.
Acho que é difícil lutar contra um urso se você está fora de forma.
That's very much the idea. President Kaczynski has long maintained that a strong body is the best defense against capitalist aggression. In shape, out of shape, you've always preferred to rely on your wits. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
O que é Kunst und Kultur?
It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean arts and culture. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian perspective.
Nossa, clássico. Leia o perfil de CS.
This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interview.
Qual artista gosta de ser entrevistado, né, velho? Espera pouco, que é esse Tip Top Tournée?
The actual article is surprisingly light on details, but after skimming a page or two, you gather that it has something to do with motor carriage racing. If you don't follow it, you only ever hear about the ludicrous sponsorships and obscene death toll.
Beleza, vamos ver o que esses comunistas têm a dizer sobre Tip Top.
You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colorful drivers. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects
Véi, os
of
caras só
Tip Top
criticam, né?
Tournée.
Espera, o que há de errado com Tip
Where
Top?
to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships, and then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes.
Espera aí, quem escreveu essas coisas?
Oddly enough, this article has 2 bylines: Nasdeb Encolada Bernal and Exilus Buka. There's no way those are real names.
Espera, porque eles não são nomes
Have you
verdadeiros?
ever met anyone named
Exilus?
Come on, they're
Come on.
plain pseudonyms.
O que há de tão errado em
Under
patrocínios?
capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity.
É verdade.
Thus, the so-called tournée becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers. Your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a Frita.
É meio Fórmula 1, né?
And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest.
É meio uma alegoria
At the end
exagerada.
of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for.
Uau, você está certo, eu realmente estou nisso pelo
You see, one cannot avoid the conclusion that Tip Top Tournée is simply the apotheosis of spectacular entertainment under capitalism. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds.
Será que a gente
before you.
consegue ler tudo até
Unsurprisingly, much
2
of
da
this
manhã?
section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dock workers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Martinez
Ó,
tames
passou
the wild
muito
pines.
tempo, velho.
A city in... Finally, there's a brief article by the writer G. Martin accusing the owner of the Capeside Apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent.
Se fosse pelo trabalho para todos aqui, o lugar é muito tragente.
The writer G. Martin remarks dryly that capitalists love wealth redistribution, so long as it's only redistributed upward. You flip back to the front of the magazine.
Beleza, lemos tudo. Tem uma... Jamais vu.
Derealization.
Derealization. Aqui a arte foda, né?
Jamais vu. The opposite of déjà vu. Not already seen, but never seen. Everything that should be familiar appears strange and new, like some half-forgotten day in your childhood. Only now. That's the feeling you've been having. And for who knows how long. You should go and ask Joyce Messier about this. What world are we in? This is a fundamental question.
Vamos. Mais uma experiência para cada orbe clicado. Top. Perfeito. Vamos dormir.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful.
Agora é outro drama,
The
né?
sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin.
Só comecei a tossir porque ficou a
The bed
noite.
sags beneath your weight as you stretch out
Tem que melhorar.
and finally
Saúde.
close your eyes. And then sleep doesn't come.
Mas eu quero dormir.
Obviously, you're in bed with your eyes closed, but it's not happening.
It's not happening. Por quê?
Maybe it's the bed's fault.
Conferi o travesseiro.
Its synthetic filling has separated into hard lumps. The pillowcase smells oddly. Smells of alcohol and sweat and grease.
Conferi o lençol.
Barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm, breathing, a bit tense in the muscles. Relax. Under your thrumming eyelids, you see a dizzying array of colors. You won't get off this carousel quite so easily.
Rolar para outro
It's a
lado.
little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to solve the case, isn't it?
Chega de pensamentos, apagar agora.
Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images start forming.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood?
Eu nasci em um hospital onde geralmente as pessoas vão pra morrer.
You're not kidding anyone, Harry. You don't remember shit. Tell me.
É foda porque o que é legal? O seu personagem não tem voz, né? Só que provavelmente é essa voz dele, essa voz que você ouve, né?
Do you remember your wife's hand on your face?
Você se lembra da mão da sua esposa no seu rosto. Você diz quem?
Do you remember the warmth of her thighs, between her legs and in her mouth?
Foi embora.
Oh no, Funky baby, you stayed. It was the rest of it that left. Or you just stood there, with one hand on the bottle and the other on your dick.
Sim.
Watching it go. Tell me.
Eu não quero dar spoiler, gente. Pelo amor de Deus.
Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours?
Me diga onde estão seus amigos. Os seres humanos têm amigos, Harry boy. Onde os diabos estão seus? Eu posso ter tudo de volta.
No, it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back. You failed. You failed me.
Eu quase li, dado de boa.
You failed Elysium.
O que é Elysium?
Everything. The pale and the useless. On the surface. The outer magnetosphere. Burning, furious truth. 8,000 years of written history. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people. And you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up.
Já falei com você antes.
No, Harry. You were just talking to yourself. That's all you ever do. Even in your dreams. And the actor's wearing thin.
É o vocalista de uma banda, esse cara.
Spots of the disco ball fade around you. You'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no time. Sweating up the bed. Stinky boy.
Eu posso voltar disso.
You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours. Bumping into things and acting like a clown. Who are you kidding?
Estou tentando solucionar esse caso.
You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like state. More glass than velvet, grinding in your head.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover.
Deus, a outro tipo.
Oh yes, party boy. And it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too. So soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork. Barely let you sleep at all. Time to get those clothes on, Harry. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
Nossa, é tenso, né? Essa sensação é horrível, velho. Tipo assim, você dormir, você não ter dormido porra nenhuma. Não sentir, não aparecer. Vamos ficar por aqui. Dia 2 continua, né?
Good going, buddy.
Meu Deus, que já foi aquilo. Acabei de ter um sonho mais lindo, inspirador.
Oh, just a dream. You have ones like that all the time. You feel even worse this morning than you did last night.
O que diabo tá acontecendo comigo?
Why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think.
Por que isso está acontecendo?
It's just that your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. Time to get some more. Don't do that. Stay strong. The hangover will wear off. You don't need to keep doing this to yourself.
Espero que rebite.
Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you propped up all day.
Não é rebite exatamente, né? Mas
your debilitating hangover.
é a tradução mais próxima.
You even got up from this floor. You got up from this floor because of a holy vow you made 16 years ago with me. To wake up exactly 7:30 every morning until the day you die.
Nossa.
Don't be silly. There was no vow. You were high on speed. That was the only reason you got up.
Speed pra mim é pó.
You
É, mas
can't detect without it.
o rebite é meio que,
It's
tipo
that
assim,
simple.
é uma mistura de remédios que você pode também, você pode cheirar, você pode tomar, né? Speed é tipo uma, você, não que eu saiba de nada, Twitch. Não que eu saiba. Não sei o que é.
Are you sure? Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically, a week. Let's be honest. 2 weeks.
É o que falam, é o que falam.
You won't make it. Half the town will be dead by then. You will be fired.
Isso é mentira, eu posso conseguir sem o rebite, metade da cidade não morrerá.
Suit yourself, slow, sad shell man. See how you do without your spark.
Tequinho. Então vamos salvar, gente. Vamos salvar e amanhã continuamos. No dia 2. E é isso. Valeu todo mundo, essa é sexta-feira. Olha ela aí. Grande canção. Até amanhã, gente. Boa noite, Eric. Boa noite, Fábio. Boa noite, Edu. Valeu. Valeu!